What is up, bros? Welcome to the All Bros podcast. I'm Caleb.
And I'm DJ, the new co-host of the show. That's right, Vic and Rose. You guys are out, and I'm in forever. I have moved up to the number 2 spot. That's right, because you can only move up one spot at a time, Victor. And it feels good to be home.
Hell yeah. Unfortunately, today, Rose got caught up at work, so he's being a decent person and managing his shit, so. Yeah, so it's just going to be me and DJ today, and this is going to be a great episode.
Yes.
Hell yeah. So, I don't really have, okay, we have like a bunch of like weird random stuff that we're going to talk about, so I'm not quite putting things in like news or through the wall or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think we could just call this the upcoming episode. We're going to talk about all the things that we're like excited for that are on their way this year and maybe even next year.
Yeah. So we're going to go through all of that stuff, discuss basically anything that freaking comes up, because there's going to be a lot. But it's going to be a hell of a time. So I say we don't waste any time. Let's just get into it.
Sounds good to me.
Need motivation? Angry Dad Podcast. Trying to jumpstart your life? Angry Dad Podcast. You want help getting off the couch? Angry Dad Podcast. You need a verbal kick in the ass? Angry Dad Podcast. You want to hear from somebody who's been through it all? Angry Dad Podcast. I am here for you. You can find me on all podcast platforms.
By the way, nothing better than that being pitched down by a factor of 1 or 2. Like, Ben doesn't need any help sounding any more threatening than he already is, but giving him it's the Angry Dad Podcast. Like, he is a menacing dude. He's the nicest man on the face of this planet. But hey, pitch that thing back up, Caleb.
I know, dude. I don't. Okay, so he sent me this audio in like this weird format, right? And so when I tried converting it to an MP3, it just started pitching it down for some reason. Like, I have no idea why the hell it did that. I fixed it. Like, it's funny because no one else is going to hear it that way. Because I usually when I go back and do all my edits, I just kind of throw his normal audio on top of this one, so it like cancels it out.
No, this time do not do it so people don't think that I'm just crazy. And they're like, oh, Ben sounds super normal. What is he talking about? No, we need the Snyder cut of this episode. Okay.
All right.
The people are calling for it. Hashtag the Caleb cut.
The Caleb cut. Yeah, I need to change it because I think I figured out the problem, and so like I have an MP3, like a different MP3 that I throw onto that. I just haven't updated it in this little cheapy soundboard thing I have. So we will be getting that fixed eventually.
So, do you want to start with like what we just were talking about, the new Lightyear movie / trailer that just came out?
Oh my gosh, yes. Dude, I am extremely excited for this movie.
I had no idea that I was going to care to see this movie at all. Like, as it stood before, I was like, like it, you know what it looked like? It looked like, ooh, I'm going to see some cool screenshots or like moving of Buzz Lightyear in the real suit, and I don't really care about this movie. This movie looks good. And it makes me aggravated because I already know that I want more movies. And like the trailer had the David Bowie song Starman in it. And for some reason, David Bowie and anything where he's talking about his astronaut alter ego makes me sad inside. And I'm like, no, Buzz, you got to make it. You're the Starman. Like, by the way, it's possible Buzz Lightyear could die in this movie. Like, we could find out why he got his own cartoon and his own all of it. Because is he supposed to be real to the Pixar-averse that we know?
That's what's kind of weird about this movie, and it's kind of got me hyped. So the way that I've been hearing this described is this is the movie that Andy went to go see that got him excited about Buzz Lightyear.
So this is the movie within the movie within the movie is what we're saying.
Pretty much. Like, that's exactly it. Like, we're seeing why Andy and his friends were obsessed with Buzz Lightyear and, like, Space Ranger. But I feel like there's also that line in the first movie when he's seeing the Buzz commercial for the first time. They're saying, the world's greatest Space Ranger, now the world's greatest... Like, I don't know if they would describe use that wording for someone that's not real.
Maybe, but also like Luke Skywalker was like the defender of the galaxy or whatever, so who knows. I like to think that this is real, though. I like to think that they're like, they know there's like, that's what we're going to find out, is that they knew there were aliens the whole time. They're like, we're just safe here on Earth where everything's perfectly normal. No monsters or live toys at all.
That's the plot twist. All the alive toys are aliens.
But it looks amazing. It looks like a real like action sci-fi movie that you would want to see. And who is voicing Buzz? I'm actually meant to have this up already.
I actually know who. Captain America himself.
That's why I recognized it. Old Chris Evans.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what's crazy. I want to know who else is going to be in this movie, because everyone else's credit is just voice. Like Taika Waititi is in this movie, credited as voice. That's it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to try and hide who's who.
James Brolin. But that's the thing. Who could be in it? Like, who else is going to be in it? Who else do we know, really, besides Zurg?
Yeah, so Zurg, I think, is going to be the biggest one. Like, he's like the big reveal, but we got to see him a little bit in this, and he looks freaking awesome.
My guess, it's going to be James Brolin is going to be Zurg.
James Brolin?
So the people that are going to be in this movie, I only know a few of these names: Taika Waititi, Keke Palmer, James Brolin, Efren Ramirez, Uzo Aduba, Crazy Eyes from Orange is the New Black, Isaiah Whitlock Jr., Peter Sohn, Dale Soul. We're getting into I have no idea territory. But yeah, I don't know any of these names except for James Brolin and that Uzo lady. So I don't know, man. I'm stoked.
Yeah, a lot of the characters in this are like original, so I don't know why they'd be hiding their names and whatnot.
It's funny because when they showed him near the beginning of the trailer, like going through their version of Warp Speed, I don't know why I was like, he's gonna run into a cowboy. I just know it. I know there's gonna be a cowboy in this movie, and there's for sure not. Like I don't know. Like that's what's crazy about this. That's what's gonna be crazy about watching this movie, is that we're watching a movie about a toy from a movie that we have toys of currently in real life.
Yeah. Dude, this would be a hilarious way to do a spin-off on like Woody and Jesse and Bullseye.
I would watch it.
I
would for sure watch it.
Like that's regardless of how good this movie is.
Disney should do a live action 6-episode run of the Woody Chronicles or whatever they'll call it.
That'd be hilarious.
It could happen. Listen, at this point, anything could happen. They could make like a puppet show that they'd release only on Disney Plus. That they're like, all right, this was the show that sparked the toy from back in the 1940s or whatever.
Dude, but I'm so excited. Dude, how funny would it be, since he's just like credited as voice, if Taika Waititi ended up voicing Zurg?
I would love it. anything Taika Waititi does, I want to be a part of it. That dude, what is it? He has no misses, that guy.
Yeah, he's going to have some, like, big, intimidating voice when he's inside the robot, and then he's going to come out and it's just like Korg. That's what I'm putting money down on that right now. Not a lot, because it's maybe a stretch, but
just have people thinking. Let me see. There was another movie. The movie that I was telling you, it shows up on every freaking list, and of course now I can't find it. Nope, I lost it again. You remember the movie Murder on the Orient Express?
Oh, you're talking about Death on the Nile?
Yeah. The hit sequel to the movie everyone loved and couldn't wait to see more of. Death on the Nile is what's coming out soon. Why is this? This is the one that I really truly don't understand why it's happening.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Murder on the Orient Express was a pretty good movie.
Oh yeah?
Like I mean,
prove it.
prove it. Fine. I think we graded it.
Wait, let's see. I'm gonna see what IMDb has to say about it. Murder on the Orient Express, 2017.
No, we don't care about IMDb scores here.
But if we did, they got a 6.5 out of 10. What did you guys score it?
Not 6.5 out of 10.
D plus.
Murder on the Orient. We gave it an 83.8.
Yo, you guys are nice. There's no way that movie... Listen, I'm looking at the cast now. By the way, I am being very judgmental. I've never seen this movie. Willem Dafoe being in this movie starts to lend it credibility, but I don't know, man. Like, well, here's the thing, too. I think it might just be a bad person, because, like, I saw Knives Out, and everyone was like, Knives Out is a great movie that everyone should watch. And I watched Knives Out and was about 45 minutes in, and I just tapped out immediately. I was done.
I mean, Knives Out was good. We actually scored that one too. Let's see what we gave that one a B plus. It was good.
Because that's the other thing. They're coming out with Murder on the Nile. They're also Knives Out 2 is going to be a thing that's happening. Why?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because they're following the detective. So I think that's something that's intriguing about it. It's like it's not following the same people from the first. It's following like a completely different mystery. It's just the same. Like the only reason that it's technically like in continuity with itself is because of the same detective, which I think it was Pierce Brosnan that did.
You're talking about Knives Out or
no,
Murder to Death?
Yeah, Murder on the Orient. Shit, it wasn't Pierce Brosnan that.
It was Superman, right? Wasn't it?
No, shit, hold on.
David Annan, Joseph Long, Andy Apollo. God, they got a lot of freaking no names in here, huh?
Kenneth Branagh.
Why do I know that name? Who is that?
He played the detective.
No, but
let's see what else he's done.
Wait, I'm gonna look him up right now. That came up right away.
He was Lockhart in the Harry Potter movie.
Hilarious. He was Stator in Tenet. Anyway, he was in Infinity War? Oh, he was uncredited as an Asgardian distress call. Okie dokie. I don't know, man. Like, it's like movies like that and Knives Out, like, I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't in the mood for it. But people seem to really like those things. But those, especially Murder on the Orient and Death of the Nile, those seem like movies that they're like, I mean, we've got the rights to it, and we should, because aren't those remakes like 2 or 3 times over now? Like, haven't those movies been made before? Or are they books? Is that why I'm...
They're books.
That's maybe what I'm thinking.
So I do not know if they've ever had a movie adaptation before. But
by the way, hilariously, speaking of books that they should stop making, they're making Sherlock Holmes 3.
Which Sherlock
starring your boy, you know who, your boy Iron Man himself.
They're making a third one?
That's what the internet says.
When did the last one came out forever ago?
Yeah, but Robert Downey Jr. is a hot commodity, and Jude Law needs a paycheck.
I will give you that.
Yeah, it's in pre-production right now. Robert Downey Jr., Jude Law, Jared Harris, whatever, bro. Yeah. Sorry, let's get back into the good ones that we all like.
Yeah,
what did you have?
That was one that was like not on my radar. I'm going to go see it just because I really liked Murder on the Orient Express.
Maybe I should watch this. I need to watch Knives Out and Murder on the Orient Express because I don't know. I tend to IMDb though. I feel like IMDb more than Rotten Tomatoes comes closer to what I feel like is the truth as far as their ratings. So no.
What? Do you not trust our scores, DJ?
Oh no, I trust you. I mean, listen. Oh my god. Okay, can we just take ourselves out of the upcoming for a moment? Can I just correct the record on the last episode that I was on? Because now with time away from the Matrix Resurrections, I would just like to say that I was wrong. I put the Matrix Resurrections at a 3 out of the 4 movies. I would like to put it back down to number 4 out of the 4 movies. And the real way that you should know that these movies are good is The Matrix 1 is number 1, The Matrix 3 is number 2, The Matrix 2 is number 3, and The Matrix 4 we all saw with our eyes.
What?
With time, I have decided that I hate Matrix 4. Like, more than I already did.
Really?
It's not hate is a strong word considering I gave it a 100. But the more I because I watched it again, and I do whenever it finally comes back to HBO Max, I want to watch it again. But it's so frustrating to watch that movie. Like, it breaks, like, you know how you guys just did what'd you do, Scream 2022, and one of your things is you should almost use this metric for other movies like The Matrix, and that metric is logic, because I feel like The Matrix 4 just kind of like just ate its own logic and just forgot about it. It was like, yeah, I mean, we've got it because we ate it, but we're just not going to pay attention anymore. And we should have done a whole nother show on how mad I am at The Matrix Resurrections after some time away from it. So I'm sorry for what I did. I agree with all of the ratings that I gave to that movie, but when I ranked them, that's what I'm correcting, really, is the ranking, not the actual score I gave it. So I'm sorry because your face, by the way, I was like, wait, I think I said the wrong thing, because your face looked like, what? Do I have to delete this episode? What is happening?
No, dude, I'm just surprised. I feel like I've heard you like praise that movie before, like in a couple other episodes. Like you talk about it, and you're like, oh, like the more I rewatch it, like it's super good. I'm just like, okay, like he's keeping consistent.
It's good. The parts about it that are good are good. Like I'm not gonna subject everyone that's heard that episode to another retelling of that, but it's just, I think it. I've gotta watch it. I've gotta watch it more. I'm gonna come back in another year and be like, you know what? I was double wrong. I do love that movie all over again. I'm an idiot. Why did I speak out of turn? I should have just let sleeping dogs lie, but instead I had to speak my mind. So I will retract some of that. I don't hate the movie. I'm just the further I get away from it, the more disappointed I am that it almost had to happen, because I do think it was true. I do think that the line where they were like, when they said like, "Hey, we're making the fourth game with or without you," I think that was the way of the at least the one Wachowski of telling us like this was going to happen. So, we all came. We all are going to get a crazy good paycheck. It's going to be amazing. Carrie Ann Moss, too, even though she's going to basically have to just sleep through this movie. And, we're all going to get paid. So if you like that, then, hey, high five for the Matrix, bro.
That would not have surprised me at all if that's exactly what happened. Because, WB saying, like, all these other people do basically throwback movies. They're like, we want in on that.
I don't know. I'm so sorry. I should not have diverted us. We should have just stayed on upcoming movies.
No, you're good. This is open format. We talk about whatever the hell we want.
Murder on the... I still am... I can't get over Murder on the Orient. I got to look on IMDb. I'm sorry, not IMDb, on Rotten Tomatoes and see what they got. Rotten Tomatoes gave it the tomato meter. Oh my God. So the tomato meter, that's the critic score, right? That is a 60% that the critics gave it. But the audience came through with 25,000 plus ratings and gave it a 53%.
Yeah, that's wrong. That is super wrong. Like, they're being like really harsh on that movie. Like, really harsh. Like, if you like mystery, it's a solid movie.
So I think one of the problems with that movie was that they were like, "Hey, remember Daisy Ridley from that their laser sword movie? We got us a laser sword gal in this movie." And was she like not in that movie that much? It seems like she was low billed.
She was in it a decent amount. She was one of the, I think there was 12 people in the overall cast, not including the detective.
Okay.
So there was 12 people in total. She was one of the 12 people. And so she had a decent amount to do, but not like a whole ton. Like, I think that what may have thrown me for a loop was the super star-studded cast, which I don't think they learned from their mistakes this go round, because again, it is a star-studded cast.
I think The Expendables kind of broke the idea of having a star-studded cast, because they were like, let's see how many we can jam in here. And I feel like Hollywood did not get the note that like that time was over now. Like the Expendables was the period at the end of the sentence to star-studded casts.
Yeah, it's like you get one, maybe two.
Yeah,
but
Expendables 6 or whatever. Like, we just get Expendables into oblivion now, to where, like, even if you're not an action star, you get to be in a new Expendables. They have a picture of Sylvester Stallone on the wall as the first Expendable, and they just make Expendables movies into oblivion from now on.
Oh, jeez.
What else do we have that you were looking at?
Ooh, one actually came and like popped up on my list and went pretty high, and I think it was only announced a couple days ago, but Jordan Peele is making another horror movie. Nope.
Okay, do you on TikTok follow Straw Hat Goofy?
No.
Okay, so this guy he did a lot of like Spider-Man stuff ramping up to No Way Home, and I think that's like how he came to prevalence a lot. But so he was talking about how in that trailer, like it was footage from Get Out and Us. Is that the other one?
Yeah.
I've not seen Us, but now, and I, by the way, didn't really have much for Us. Like I have wanted to see it, but I just I don't know, always fell to the back of the queue, I guess. But there is a part where This guy proposes. He's like, we only get to see literally like 2 seconds of new footage with those three characters just looking up into the sky, supposedly maybe at that cloud with the little clown rope hanging off of it or whatever. But there is a part in that trailer where it shows the two faces, one from Get Out and one from Us, where it's both of the characters like crying, down their face, and like I never saw Us, so I don't know what's going on in Us. But he's like, maybe this is like, we never knew this was going to be some kind of unofficial trilogy, and all these three movies are going to actually be connected, and this is going to show how they all connect together. Maybe, I don't know.
That would be wild.
Us
was so good.
What's
we
funny?
scored that
Go
one,
ahead.
and it's where is it? We gave it an A-.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, it is so good. It is so good.
I'm looking on IMDb. The trivia doesn't really have much. Principal photography began on June 7th of last year. The lead role was offered to Jesse Plemons, but had to turn it down due to scheduling conflicts, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? So who's in this movie? Let's see here.
Keke
Barbie
Palmer
Ferreira? You know who that is? Barbie Ferreira? Or Ferreira, yeah.
Which one are you looking at?
I am looking at Nope. Am I looking at Nope?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I am. I'm looking at Nope. This is the top billed cast. Barbie Ferreira, Keke Palmer, Michael Wincott, Daniel Kaluuya, Stephen Yen. Right? No?
Yeah, who the...
This lady seems to be in Euphoria, which the internet tells me is a great show. I've never seen 1 second of it.
That's what I hear, too. Who the hell is... That's weird. Especially since they're having Daniel Kaluuya in it. Like, I thought he would be the main... Because he was one of the people that we saw new stuff about.
So here's the thing about IMDb, which they don't always delineate, is sometimes they'll say top build, but it won't actually be the top build. It'll just be in alphabetical order. And there's no usually rhyme or reason to why it's, or not alphabetical order, order of appearance, rather than top build. So I don't know why there's a delineation like that sometimes, but this could be that, because I couldn't imagine why he would be 1, 2, 3, 4th build.
Yeah, that's super weird. Because the three people that we saw new footage of was Daniel, Keke Palmer, and Stephen Yen.
Was he in Daniel Yuba? How do you say his last name? Do you know?
Daniels?
Yes.
I say Kaluuya.
Kaluuya?
Yeah, I don't know if that's correct.
Oh, I was looking at a different name. Yes, Kaluuya does look right.
I was gonna say, who are you looking at?
Clearly the wrong name. Yeah, I was wondering if he was in Us, but he is not. So, I don't know. Anything with Jordan Peele, I mean, listen, the one thing that I am sad that I didn't get to see is the Twilight Zone, because did he produce or direct the Twilight Zone when it came back to TV for a little bit? There was like a short run of the Twilight Zone a couple years ago.
He actually, there was a couple seasons of...
Was there more than one?
Yeah. Like, I think they were short seasons, so it was like maybe, I think 8 episodes.
Let's see, the Twilight Zone.
But he
20,
was the...
No, there's 20 episodes, it says. There was 2 seasons, and they were both 10 episodes.
Oh. Well, yeah, he was the host for them.
That's awesome. That show only has a 5.8. Ridiculous.
He did a really good job on that. Like, I have seen Twilight Zone stuff before, and I always kind of found it a little bit on the boring side.
Yeah, it's weird.
But he did a really good job with it.
I feel like unless you grew up with it, because I grew up with like my parents watching the Twilight Zone and the Outer Limits, And like I understand that they are boring, but it's funny because I think recently we started rewatching The Outer Limits, maybe. I don't know, but it was weird because watching those shows from back in the day really gives you an appreciation for writing, I think, because like there was a guy, I think the first episode was this guy, he was like stuck in this town where there was no one, and he was lost and he couldn't figure it out, and he was like being driven crazy. And then it turns out that at the end of the episode, it was just a guy that was in like a deprivation box, and he was in that box for like, I don't know, like a certain amount of days or weeks, because they were like, we're going to send a man to Mars. And this guy had gone crazy basically. And they were like, I don't know. It was so well written that it was kind of shocking for being that old. But it was super boring. It was very well written, very boring, very slow burnish, to where like really legitimately the twist was at the end and you're like, oh, this was good.
Jeez. Dude, there is one of the new, like, gosh, I don't want to talk about, like, because like I want you to experience it too, so I'm gonna shut my mouth.
Well, wait, of what? The new show?
Of the new Twilight Zone. Like I don't want it. Like I don't.
All right. Well, what episode?
You need to watch it, and then I'll discuss it, because I love this episode.
All right. So I'm sorry, Nope. And by the way, Nope has no synopsis that I can find. So
Nope. It, like, from what I've experienced with this, I've only heard about it today. So
I think I saw. No, never mind. I think I've only ever seen. Excuse me. I think I've only ever seen the poster for it.
Yeah. So I saw the little trailer like this morning, and I was just like, what? And like it kind of showing that this is just kind of part of the Jordan Peele crazy trilogy.
The Jordan Peele-averse.
Yeah. So I'm excited because Jordan Peele has never let me down, ever. Like all of his stuff, like I feel has been like amazing. And
yeah,
he's such a good horror writer, so I'm so excited to see.
And can we just say, Keegan-Michael Key, I don't know what all he is doing, but he did that Christmas movie. What the heck is it called? God dang it. But that dude, he has a song in that Christmas movie. Hold on, I gotta find this now. I think it might be called Jingle Jangle. Have you seen this? Jingle,
I have not.
Jingle Jangle, A Christmas Journey. It stars Forrest Whitaker, Keegan-Michael Key, and others. Doesn't matter. It's such a good movie, but he has a song in that movie that I sing in my head probably once a week. I promise you, you could watch that movie now. Your daughter will love that movie. First of all, it doesn't have to be Christmas. She will love it, and she will be singing Magic Man G for the rest of your life.
Dude, that duo can do like anything.
They can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, so super excited for Nope.
Whoa, speaking of super excited, I didn't realize it was coming so soon, but next month on the 4th, March 4th, the Batman is coming out.
Oh my gosh,
I'm not gonna lie, good. I was very down on this movie from like day one. Like I saw Robert Pattinson with his flippy hair and his like wireframe body, and I was like, nope, this is not a real Batman movie. He is not strong enough. I don't know if I care about that now, because did you see there was like they released like a couple minutes of footage of, I want to say it was a funeral that was happening. Did you see this or no?
It sounds familiar. I think I know what you're talking about.
All I know is that this movie, it has me interested. I will say that. I am interested to see what is going to be happening with this. Much more than I don't know if you heard Joker 2 is at least in the works, which I think is a huge mistake.
Yeah.
But I am definitely into the idea of seeing this movie. Like I think it's going to be kind of amazing.
Dude, I do too. So from what I hear, this is supposed to be like a Batman year 2. Like,
Okay.
quote unquote. So
I mean, listen, have you read Year One?
I've not.
Year One is amazing. Like, it's really good. Year One and The Killing Joke, it make you, if you read those two, you see why Tim Burton was like, of course I would love to make a Batman movie. And I'll make it about The Killing Joke, and it'll have inspirations of Year One. And when you know that, and you read those, and you watch that movie, you're like, wow, you are really bad at adapting things, Tim Burton. Because I see the source material now. No. Still very good. Michael Keaton will forever be my Batman, but yo. that was a wild attempt there, sir.
Yeah, I've read The Killing Joke, and I love that novel.
By the way, did you know that though? Did you know that the Keaton Batman was supposed to be like inspired by The Killing Joke?
Dude, not, even knowing that now, having seen and
isn't that bananas?
And read, dude, yeah, no, like you are so off the mark.
I mean, listen, don't get me wrong, it's good. Like, yeah, I wish I didn't know that, because now I'm like, what? But the movie, it doesn't change. Like, I still 89 Batman. Like, that was the first Batman I ever saw. Like, even before the TV show or anything like that. Like the old school Adam West TV show. So I will never not love that movie. But knowing that, yeah, I'm like, all right, bro, stick to Frank and Weenie, get out of here.
Dude, same here. Michael Keaton's like easily my favorite Batman, so I'm so excited to see him back in The Flash. Oh, that's gonna be so excited.
Oh! I'm sorry. I don't know why my brain skipped a word, and I just thought you were saying The Flash was going to be in the Batman, and I was like, huh? Like, I don't like that tone shift at all.
Yeah, no. Keaton Batman is supposed to be in
supposed to be nothing. He is in that movie. Okay,
yeah.
they can say all the I don't know, maybe he's in that movie. Okay,
dude, have you seen the behind the scenes pictures of that? Oh my gosh! So they have this like Batman poster thing. Like, it's just like an image of the Batman and it's supposed to be like old and faded, but it has a picture of Keaton's Batman with a Robin.
Wait a minute. Another Robin?
Another Robin, but it's like a good Robin.
Yeah, those are sequels I will not apologize for. By the way, I don't know if this is true. I never know what to think, because IMDb trivia, anybody can just write it. But I like the first sentence of this. Director Matt Reeves wrote the script with Robert Pattinson in mind, not even knowing he would ever want to be in the movie. Like, I like that. I like when there are, I mean, who's to know if that's A, if that's true, and B, if that's like, if Matt Reeves actually said that, if that was actually true, or if he's like, no, I just didn't want to offend, what's his face? Matt Damon. Not Matt Damon. Who's the other guy? Ben Affleck. But I don't know. I like when directors or writer directors have a actor in mind and then it works out like that. Because I feel like it makes, I don't know, that makes me more excited for that movie. It makes me feel like it's going to be more of like what they imagined. Which, by the way, if it does suck, then you can be like, well, what you imagine stinks. How about that? Guys, I know I should know this, but I'm going to look right now, but what is Matt Reeves, like, what has he directed that I would really know offhand? Let's see.
Excellent
Oh,
question.
War of the Planet of the Apes Dawn. Okay, you got me. I'm in. Matt Reeves, me and you, we're good. I don't know how you felt about the remakes of the Planet of the Apes movies, but I was very on board.
We loved them. So we didn't do like an episode about it, but we did score the Planet of the Apes movies, like the new ones.
Mm-hmm.
And so the War of the Planet of the Apes got an A-, and then Dawn and Rise got a B+, but it was just shy of an A-.
Have you seen the original movies?
No.
I would actually highly suggest it because they go from really good to leaning way hard into cheesy to getting really good again. In a way that, like, again, prepare yourself. Like, this is a freaking what's that guy? You can pry it from my cold dead hands. What's his name? The NRA guy. He was in the original Planet of the Apes. Why can't I say it? Charlton Heston? Like, these were Charlton Heston starring movies. So, that's what you're in for. But like, those movies were shockingly good. Like, again, once you get to like there's one where like they go underground and there's like the underground people and they're like, we have this nuclear bomb thing that we worship for some reason. And then, but then it goes back to good again. Like, I want to say the last Charlton Heston movie, I don't even know if Charlton Heston was in it. But yeah, it was those original movies. I don't think they get enough credit.
Yeah, they're.
And again, the Tim Burton one doesn't exist. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I'll have to check those ones out because I think they're on HBO Max, if I'm not mistaken. Something's on HBO Max that's like old.
Ha! Listen, I know you are like 10 years younger than me, but like, it was crazy to recently, my nephew who's 14, introduced him to Weezer, like the Blue album Weezer. And I realized, oh, this would have been like my parents introducing me when I was 14 to like early Zeppelin or something. Like, that's how old this is, because that Blue album came out in 96, I think. 96. That seems like yesterday for me. And yet, it's as old. What year were you born?
96.
There you go. You were born the year my musical taste was being formed forever.
That's hilarious.
Is not on HBO Max, by the way. I typed in Planet of the Apes, and it doesn't even give you a side thing. It's like, nope, we don't have it. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Mm.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Where were we at? We were talking about the Batman.
Yeah,
the Batman coming out next month. Cannot wait.
Yeah, that's gonna be great. Yeah, I had my hesitations about Robert Pattinson being Batman until someone pointed out that, like, because I saw like the emo looking Bruce Wayne, and they're just like, well, he just hasn't established his identity as Bruce Wayne yet, and I'm like, that I'll give you that, and I'm like, I just don't know how he'll play, like how well he'll play Batman. And then everyone like started selling like, oh, so you don't think that he can play some broody, vampiric looking character that only fights at night? And I'm like,
good point.
You got me there.
I mean, listen, Robert Pattinson, he definitely takes too much heat because of the Twilight saga.
He's an amazing actor.
He is an amazing actor. Like, I have never seen that movie with him and Willem Dafoe. I think it's called The Lighthouse, but everyone is like, what? Like, I feel like that was the movie where people finally were like, okay, fine, you can act. We accept you again.
Yeah, like I definitely give him some shit, but I don't like diss on his acting ability. Because my first introduction to him was Goblet of Fire. And I thought he did incredible in that.
The other guy that always got flack, what was the kid's name? Hayden Christensen. He was someone that was a good actor and was just, I mean, listen, I've seen the prequels recently, oof. That wasn't great, but I think that can be explained away by George Lucas not being a great director.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, everything else. Because what was he in?
Jumper is one of them. Yeah.
I really like Jumper.
Everybody liked Jumper, and that was the thing. That's usually what everyone would say. They were like, "Oh, you don't think he's a good actor? Don't you like the movie Jumper?" And that was everyone reacting like, "Oh yeah, he was in that movie, and it was great."
Yeah, and I didn't like him in episode 2, but I kind of was okay with his performance with episode 3.
I mean, listen, it was. You know what's funny though is I think we were talking about this beforehand, before the show. There are things that the extra stuff in Star Wars, and by that I mean the shows, kind of ruin for some of the movies, because if you watch the Clone Wars, you're like, why is the Clone Wars Anakin better than Anakin Skywalker? Why is this guy more likable than what we saw on the big screen? And you can say, oh, you get more time with him and he gets to flesh out his character more. Nope, that's not it.
No,
that's not it.
Not even a little bit.
Because guess what? You got a lot of time. You got even more time with Obi-Wan, and you just love him more. So what are you talking about?
Dude, so that brings me to my next top anticipated. And I know it's not a movie, but I am so excited for the Obi-Wan series.
Dude, that show, I honestly don't care. They could just have Obi-Wan meditating every other episode, and I'm in.
Yeah, just straight up meditating, and then he's like, okay, time for the Darth Vader rematch, and then go and do that, and then done.
And that was the other thing. I won't give any spoilers for anything, but I will say that with what we have seen recently out of other Star Wars shows, it's like I was telling you before the show, I don't think it's impossible that we could see some Clone Wars action with Obi-Wan and Anakin and Ahsoka, from way, way back in the actual, dude,
I would. There are no words to describe how excited I would be about that.
And by the way, seeing it'll probably, I got to imagine it's going to make you, if they do that, which I hope they do, I will just be sad, because seeing little baby Ahsoka before she is turned away by the Jedi is going to make me so sad. You don't know what's coming, a little Ahsoka, no. Sky Guy, the Jedi Council, everybody's going to turn their back on you. No.
Oh my gosh. Dude, I'm so excited for that show. Because, one, if we're going to get flashbacks, and with Hayden Christensen, we're going to get to see him do or work with some good material.
Yes.
And that's what's keeping me going with that.
And we are finally, I think, going to get to see what was it? On an adjacent note, as of the day we're recording this was the first Nintendo Direct of the year happened today, and one of the things that they announced was the Force Unleashed 1. At least the Force Unleashed 1, I think, is coming out on the Switch, maybe 2, but I can't remember. But one of the things about those games is you get to see Darth Vader be a frickin' the only time you get to see Darth Vader like he is in those games is at the end of Rogue One, when he is in the hallway and he is just a menace. And I think we're going to get to see some really cool, okay, this is why everyone is super scared of Darth Vader, because he is a legit menace. he is the Phantom Menace.
Dude, oh my gosh. So the Force Awakens, or not The Force Awakens, Force Unleashed. The Force Unleashed became not canon, right?
Yes, sadly. Well, because what was it? His apprentice. Well, but it's funny that like they almost made it to where it could never be canon because his apprentice in that game was Starkiller.
Okay.
Which is funny because now they have Starkiller base and anyway, but yeah, that has all fallen out of canon. But still very good. Still a very good story.
Okay. Yeah. So,
but listen, there is a Vader. I've never read it, but I've read like little blurbs of it on the internet now and then. But there is a Vader comic book, and I am almost 100% sure that they'll bring a lot of that into that show as well.
Yeah, I've been reading. Someone recommended the War of the Bounty Hunters comic series to me, which is what happened to Boba Fett in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. So apparently he was like going to deliver Han to Jabba, but the carbonite things like was starting to like wear off on Han. And so he's like, shit. So he has to run over to some sketchy dude and like get him fixed. And while he was like going to collect a payment to pay the guy fixing Han, another bounty hunter came and stole Han. and so it's like this whole series about Boba Fett dealing with this. But there is a tie-in series, and it's like related to Darth Vader, and
really?
Yeah, and so and it's all canon, like it's
really?
All canon. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. What is this called?
It's called War of the Bounty Hunters.
Okay.
I heard about this via Brucker and Nate. They have a Star Wars podcast called Blue Milk Drop, so go check that out. But yeah, so War of the Bounty Hunters, and I've been reading that, and there's this whole thing with like Darth Vader. It's kind of like slightly a side story off the main, but Darth Vader in that apparently had a big falling out with the Emperor, where the Emperor just like completely bushwhacked him. And like rebuilt him, and it was just like, you know your place, and he's like, yeah,
okay. I guess.
And so just like building a bitterness towards the Emperor around that. But in that, he's a total badass.
And that is what I think we're going to get to see in this show. I mean, maybe not. Who knows? Like, maybe it's not going to be anything what we think it will be. But the fact that they have been saying, like, listen, this is the Obi-Wan show, but Hayden Christensen's going to be there. So that's going to be neat.
Like, whole thing, the only thing I want out of that show is I want the Rogue One Darth Vader. I want everyone to stop being like, oh, this is how badass Darth Vader is, and bringing up Rogue One. I want them to be like, oh, you want to know how badass Darth Vader is? Check out this scene from Obi-Wan.
Well, that's what sucks is like, I really hope they do that, because the only two like visual representations of that you can see in motion are the end of Rogue One and spoiler alert for Jedi Fallen Order. And you've had enough time, the end of Jedi Fallen Order, because those two things, you're like, oh my God, because in both of those, he's got some real Michael Myers, like just man walking down a hallway, and you'll never stop him. You can't. It's impossible.
Dude, not even that too. Like, they have another one that made me freaking terrified of Darth Vader. Vader Immortal on VR, that is canon.
Really?
Yep. Like,
right.
I didn't know that when I bought it, but I was reading through the description, and they're just like a canonical series of Darth Vader. I'm like, whoa, what? But he's intimidating as hell. I'm 6'2", and so in VR, he towers over me.
It's funny because now thinking about it, I'm pretty sure it was The Force Unleashed 2. I don't know if it necessarily makes him menacing, but it sure makes you hate him. Because did you play The Force Unleashed 2?
No. I never played him. I watched my brother play him.
I'm like 99% sure that at the beginning of The Force Unleashed 2, you are Darth Vader and you are going to get this this little force wielding child, and you just slice down some Wookiees. Just murk some Wookiees left and right. And you're like, oh, I hate this guy. He is the worst.
I remember that. I remember watching my brother do that.
Yeah. By the way, that like it made you not want to play the game, because you're like, I don't want to kill the Wookiees. Like, please don't make me do this, game. And the game is like, well, not only are you going to slice them down, you're not only going to start just chopping wood on these dudes, we're going to make you force choke them too. So anyway, have fun with this game. See ya.
Yeah. But like there's so much. It's so cool. Like the VR version or the Vader Immortal is so cool because you have this lightsaber and you're fighting these like weird droids in this weird temple that's supposed to help Darth Vader collect this artifact to help him resurrect Padme.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah, and so you see him dealing with that shit, and it's like prime. But yeah, so you're in this dark temple and you're fighting all these droids, and in the middle of the fight, Darth Vader takes your lightsaber and like just demolishes this army of droids that are on him, and it's like in complete darkness too, so he is only lit by your lightsaber.
That's amazing.
It is, dude. I had to like pause. I'm like, oh my gosh, like my heart rate cannot handle this.
You know what? You just made me realize this is a question I have about VR stuff. When you're playing a game like that, is there just a option to just be like, pause real quick, I gotta go eat dinner, or do you have to like let that cutscene play?
Kind of like you can pause it. It's just a matter of like being able to save. So you can get like once the cutscene is done, it's like it's not super long either. Like the Vader Immortal is split into 3 chapters, and you have to buy like each chapter, but they're only like $10 each, or you can pay $25 for all 3 of them. And so their stories are only about like 2 hours.
Still though, that's what 6 hours for $30 of standing around with Vader. It seems pretty dope.
And they have a Jedi dojo too. So like that's not all you get with it. Like it's not just a story. You get like a Jedi lightsaber dojo, and that's pretty fun. And that builds up a sweat. Like I was playing that for like I was playing that for like half an hour, and then I was like, oh, I'm hungry. Took my headset off and realized how sweaty I was.
That's how I'm gonna sell getting one finally. I'm gonna be like, I know it's $400, but think of all the sweat.
Well, I think they're only $300.
You're talking about the Oculus Quest 2?
Yeah. Are they 4?
They are. Because I just saw one at Target the other day, because I was like, maybe, and then I was like, because you know what, this is my 2 things. Because one, I want to do the theater experience with the bros so bad, but also I know that the second that I buy that's when they're going to be like, guys, we just wanted you to know the Switch Pro is coming out and it costs $400, and you just bought an Oculus, so suck it, nerd. I'm like, God dang it. I want that Switch so bad. I'm never going to get it.
There's so much to do on the VR. Like, I only use it for only a few things. Like, I use it to play Vader Immortal. Like, I always go back and play in the lightsaber dojo. It's, like, so much fun. I use it for the movies. And then occasionally when Rose has some free time, we play this this other game where we can like design our own space to hang out in, and so we go and play in that, and like we're setting up an all bros studio in VR, which is pretty fun.
That's awesome, by the way. I cannot wait to visit.
Yeah, so I highly recommend. And I would have gotten it for the movie theater experience alone. Like, I love that. Like, if you have like a good, comfortable pair of headphones, or if you wanted to just go all out and get a surround sound and hook that up, but I mean, like, I try not to bother the people around me. So I have my headphones going. I can like blast whatever movie I'm watching, and it feels like I'm in a movie theater, and the quality is super good. Like, it is really good.
All right, fine, I'll get one. I don't know why you just talking about that the movie theater experience made me think of watching The Matrix again, and I take it all back. I was too harsh. I was bad at The Matrix, but Matrix, I still love you.
Dude, so I'm not sure if I've like told you or Vic this, because I'm trying to get him to get one too, so all four of us can do a movie night, and that would just be sick.
Amazing, yes.
So Bohemian Rhapsody, I have seen 3 different times. The first time was in theaters, and during the live performance, or what was it, Live Aid, or not Live Aid? Whatever the final performance is like in the theaters, gave me chills. When I watched it the second time, I watched it just on my normal TV.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and I had like it was loud and everything, but like not surround sound by any means, but just like it was a good sound system. I watched that, and then like that final scene, nothing, which is not uncommon for me when I have like chills experience in theaters. Like anytime I watch the movie again, it's like I'm usually just like, okay, cool, like whatever. The second time. The third time was because you and Vic freaking challenged me, and and Vic said, like, you can't really recreate it. And I was like, freaking bet. So I hooked up my surround sound to my headset, freaking cranked it, and watched Bohemian Rhapsody, and like same thing happened. Like, got to the end, freaking chills.
That movie, I think that was the movie that he was talking about, right? That he was like, he wished he had got to see in theaters.
Yeah, and you were talking about Mad Max.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I could do it.
that would be, to me, it would be worth the price of admission just to get to see Mad Max like in freaking super duper widescreen. Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly how to get you a free copy of Mad Max. I think it's on my Vudu, because like you have to download it, like have a special like file to watch stuff in the VR, which it's not hard. You plug your headset in, transfer a file, and you're good to go. But yeah, you could watch Mad Max in theaters, and it will be just as good.
I will say this. They've never done this for another movie recently that I can... Well, maybe they did it for... I feel like they kind of did it for the Snyder Cut, or maybe I'm wrong. But that was a movie that they said they were going to re-release, Mad Max Fury Road, but they were going to re-release it in black and white.
I have the black and white version too.
Do what?
I have the black and white version too.
Have you watched the black and white version?
I haven't watched it at all yet.
Because wait, you haven't seen even the movie?
I haven't seen anything Mad Max.
Oh, poor sweet child. Listen to me. I've seen the Mad Maxes and they're great, but in my opinion, you do not need to see any of them to put Mad Max Fury Road into your body. Please watch that movie. In fact, I now have to challenge you and Rose to watch that movie and put it on this program, because Oh, it's so good. And Tom Hardy does my favorite. He does my favorite thing, which is not talk a lot. That dude can mug. That guy can mug at the camera like nobody's business, but not super great at acting, in my opinion.
If you get a headset, that we can make that our first movie night.
Listen, do not tempt me with a good time.
Dude, we can make it happen.
By the way, I will just say this too. Usually, like, I don't know if you grew up. Did you grow up in the era of like video game tie-ins to movies?
Yes, absolutely.
So I don't know how yours were, but mine were always high level terrible. And
I don't think there wasn't a whole lot of good ones.
no. But can I tell you the Mad Max game that I think they have it for Xbox One. But the Mad Max video game is maybe one of the best. It has nothing to do with the movies. It's just a Mad Max video game, but it is amazing. Like, it is, I would put it up there as one of the like biggest hidden gem games because people just saw Mad Max and were like, ugh, movie game. I'm not playing this. It's so good. We don't deserve that game is all I'll say. So yeah, if you have like by the way, I bet you on it. What do you have? What Xbox do you have? Or what gaming console do you have?
Xbox One.
Xbox One. Watch this. Mad Max Xbox One. Mad Max Xbox One. $14.99. A freaking steal. You could get it by Saturday. I'm just saying, it's a great game. Sorry, we're talking about movies though. What got us all the way to Mad Max, huh?
Star Wars.
There we go. Obi-Wan. Good old Obi-Wan.
Dude, that's like one thing I'm going to do. Like, I've been watching Boba Fett on my TV, which has been great. But I am watching Obi-Wan in VR.
So is it the same deal if you want to watch shows like that in VR? Do you have to download them, or is there any way to like stream it to it?
So you can't, if you want to stream it, you can't do it in the like the theater space.
Mm-hmm.
You can go into, like, I just logged on to my Disney Plus account on the Oculus's browser.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could put whatever show I want in full screen, and it shows like it looks like a theater size screen, but it's just kind of in a void.
Oh.
So I mean it's fine. Like like it's still a good like experience, like a good viewing experience. But if you wanted to watch it with other people, you'd have to like download a copy of it and then like upload it onto your headset, and then yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Disney is like, nope, you're not allowed to do that. Don't ever do that.
Yeah, there are ways around it. And I'm really good at finding those ways. That's what me and Rose were doing with What If. Like, we were watching What If. Like, I think we were watching the finale together, and I downloaded the finale. Like, it was usually like the day after, but
still, that's awesome though that you were able to figure it out.
Yeah. So the only thing when you're watching a movie in the theatrical experience, you have to have the same file. Not like exactly the same, but so like what I do is I just upload a file to our Google Drive, and then Rose will take it and put it onto his headset, and then we can watch it together. That's
cool.
Yeah. So like I would do the same thing with you and Vic if he got one. So I would just share the Google file with you guys. We'd get it all hooked up, and then I could, like, from there you just invite people to your room, choose the thing, and then they choose the file to watch. it just like says, hey, do you want to watch this file on your headset? And they're like, you just click yes and you're good to go.
I sure do.
Hell yeah. Dude, we could get everyone in on this. We could get you in on this. We can get Vic in on this. I know Ben, Angry Dad Ben, is down for it too. Yeah, he says he's been trying to get you to do it.
Listen, it seems listen, let's talk about movies. By the way, we don't have to talk about this, but on June 24th of 2022, there is an Elvis biopic coming out. And I say to that, what? Don't we know enough about Elvis? Can we let that man be dead, please?
Yeah, you would think, right?
He's done so much for us. Let the man rest. One movie though that I feel like we should talk about that I still have not seen part 1 of, which is the new movie coming out, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
You haven't watched the first one?
I still haven't.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, everyone. Welcome. You are everyone. You are one of the masses. That is like, why are you so dumb with movies? Yes, I know. I'm sorry.
That one's on my Voodoo too. I haven't watched it.
I know. We're going to do it. Maybe this weekend even.
Oh my gosh. Dude, that'd be another good one to do in
Wait,
VR
have you guys
too.
not? Oh, in VR. Oh, okay. I was like, wait, didn't you do this on this? Do that episode? Wow. Do that movie on an episode.
Yes. Where
was Vic a part of it? Because we know
Vic was a part of it, and it got an A-.
Skewed. It was just an A. Or I'm sorry, it was a B+. Vic. Vic frickin' 100'd it up.
Yeah. So this was actually wait, was it? I think Into the Spider-Verse was one we did before our current system. So when we so this was one in the mass ratings that we did. So we sent it out to like we sent it out to like everyone. And I'm pretty sure Vic freaking 100%ed everything, but someone chose to score it that did not give it all 100%. And so yeah, they skewed it. And that's unfortunately what happened to Scott Pilgrim. So
we don't talk about Scott Pilgrim. But can I just tell you, in case I don't ever get the chance to, that movie Encanto, however you say it, what was it? I think it was you, or maybe it was Rose, that was talking about how you didn't understand why Luisa's character / song got what became so popular. Is that correct? Am I correct in remembering that? I just remember both. I feel like both of you guys being like, Louisa. I mean, she was okay, but she was. Louisa, I didn't realize this until I watched that movie. I'm like, I have not connected with a character in a kid's movie, maybe ever until now. Because as soon as she was like, the weight of the world, everyone thinks just because you're strong that you got to be the one to take on everyone's problems. I was like, Louisa, you're me and I'm you and we're us. Yes, it's too much sometimes. I feel you. I remember that was the only thing I disagreed. You guys were like, she was fine. I'm like, she wasn't fine, man.
Dude, my daughter is obsessed with that movie. So it's
a good movie.
Yeah. I've watched it at least 10 times. Not even kind of exaggerating.
I don't know if you guys talked about this on the show. I think I might have sent you a TikTok about it, but somebody realized too that Bruno's cape that he wears is Disney green, which if you don't know, Disney green is the green that they paint things that they don't want you to notice in the parks.
Yeah,
so,
you said that to me.
That I thought was just there's a lot of really good touches with Bruno being hidden in the background, but I thought that was a really good one that I didn't see until long after that movie came out.
Oh my gosh, dude, there's so much, like, every viewing of that movie, there's something new that I pull from it.
It's a
Like,
great movie. It was a better
it's-
movie than I thought it would be, to be quite honest with you. I had zero expectation of that movie. And it was really good. Also, you guys talked about it too. I just have to say, I do what I always do when I'm watching movies, especially movies like that, looking at IMDb, like, oh, who is this? Who is that? And when it was Rosa from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I was like, what?
Dude, like, no joke. Like, that's like the only thing that I've seen her in, like, live action. And so, like, I watched, like, however many seasons of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. And so, like, I'm used to Rosa, and then when when we jump to, like, In the Heights, she's some, like, salon nail lady, and she's, like, talking super, like, high pitch. I'm like, what the hell? And then, yeah, with this one, when she's like, oh, yeah, she's doing all the singing and whatnot, I'm like, bullshit.
Well, I mean, listen, good for her for being able to do In the Heights, because that is where her, like, Lin-Manuel Miranda connection came. Yeah, it's fun. Like, this is why I don't believe IMDb trivia, because one piece of trivia said that they weren't going to audition her because they just knew her from her Brooklyn Nine-Nine persona and just kind of assumed that's who she was as a person. And when she came to audition, they were like, whatever. But then later it was like, yeah, and she first met Lin-Manuel Miranda on In the Heights. I'm like, okay, come on. Like, he knew then. Like, hey, you can probably sing, lady. Let's have you come in and be part of this here Disney movie. Which, by the way, good for her. You've made money now forever.
Mm-hmm. Dude, that's, oh my gosh, that We Don't Talk About Bruno song, that's bigger than Let It Go.
That is kind of amazing to me, because I feel like it is out there, but not as out there as Let It Go was. Like,
yeah, Let It Go, after, like, the first couple times you hear it, it gets annoying. This song, like, I'll watch TikToks that have it that I don't even care about. Like,
because we don't talk about Bruno.
Dude, it is so catchy.
You know,
like,
what? That makes me.
It gets
Go ahead,
stuck in your head hardcore.
That just reminded me. You can check and see. Let's see, Lin-Manuel Miranda's filmography. Oh, he doesn't have anything upcoming, it says. Well, never mind. I was going to look up his upcoming stuff, but doesn't seem like he's working on anything. Which, does he have to anymore? I feel like he could do nothing forever. Oh, no, here we go. He's got one. It just says the making of. Hey, that's not anything. Oh, wait. Long married filmmakers have cast over-emotional actors to portray their younger blah, blah, blah. All right, whatever, Lin-Manuel. We'll see you when we get there. All right, how do we get to Encanto from there? We were talking about Louisa. She was the greatest character of all time.
We were talking about Spider-Man.
Oh, yes, Into the Spider-Verse. By the way, with comic book movies, you wonder why they're making. Did you know this was happening? Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom? That's coming out this year, supposedly on December 16th.
Yeah, that's the second Aquaman movie, right?
Yeah. I thought we closed the book on DC characters that weren't the Flash and Batman.
Well, no, we still got Shazam. Shazam was good. Black Adam I have mixed feelings about, just because The Rock.
I mean, the Shazam wasn't bad. I watched that movie and it was not bad. I didn't care about it. Like, ask me the only thing I remember about that movie is legitimately the things that I saw in the trailer, where he was like, your phone's charged, and zap, I accidentally blew up your phone. Like, that's what I remember about that movie.
Yeah. For me, like, I thought it was a really nice just kind of separation from all the other DC stuff that wasn't working.
But that's the problem. DC has so many deviations from things that aren't working that, like, the things that work, they can't then be folded back in a real way to the things that aren't working. Like the Joker. Like, the Joker was this crazy thing that everyone only needs to see once, and you can just throw it away because it's going to make you feel bad in your heart. But it is a good movie, and that's it. Is there any way to fold that in? Probably not. The Batman. This I feel like, as much as I said Ezra Miller wouldn't be a weird tone in that movie, like, I almost think he's going to show up and be like, "You're the new Batman now. Anyway, can't wait till you look more like Ben Affleck. See you later."
If they tried to build a universe around that Batman, I'm not sure that would work at all. Like, dude, I don't understand what the hell DC is doing so wrong. Like, just get someone to write you an animated movie and make it live action.
They did that, and they're making it animated anyway, and it's DC Super Pets. So,
oh, good hell. Don't even get me started on Super Pets.
They're like, listen, nobody likes the guys we cast and the guys and gals we cast for the real stuff. Let's see what they think about their pets. What's up with crypto?
Dude, that's so... I have so many issues with that one.
And that's why I'm baffled that they are still doing another Aquaman movie. Like, good for Jason Momoa. I'm all about you getting that paper, son. But god dang, enough. We get it.
I mean, Aquaman wasn't a completely unwatchable movie. It was just part of the DCEU, and we don't care about the DCEU.
We don't care about DQ. Yeah, it's... I don't know. There's that. But listen, nothing is going to overshadow that theoretically it says the same day. This can't be. If this is the same day, that's hilarious. It says also opening on December 16th, Avatar 2. That's right. The James Cameron joint, Avatar 2.
Dude, freaking talk about movies no one gives a shit about.
Dude, I love James Cameron because he is the Quentin Tarantino of movies no one cares about. He just makes movies and is like, I make the movies I want. And everyone's like, whatever, you made a Terminator once. Go ahead. Make your avatars Terminator, man.
Like, I understand that he built, like, this massive world with the first Avatar movie, and that was all fine and dandy. But where do you go? Like, you have to have a story to go with it, man.
This is the thing. I never saw the first movie. It never interested me in any way because I saw Pocahontas and was like, yeah, I get it. It's just with
that's
aliens.
Pretty much it. That is pretty much it. It is pretty much it with blue people.
And that was, it never interested me anyway. Like, I heard that the ride was good at Universal or whatever it was at Disney. But I don't know, man. Like, I get that by the way, James Cameron lost all good faith with me when he was like, let me go ahead and release my movie one more time just to make sure that the Avengers can't have their day, can't have their moment.
I hated him for that.
Which, by the way, I hate him for that, but I also kind of love him for that, to be like, no, you don't. I'm Titanic Man. You don't do that to me. I'm Avatar Titanic Terminator Man.
Dude, that was just such a such a petty thing to do. Like, you
want to know
asshole.
something? I don't know if this is true. I'm going to Google this right now just to see if it is true. But do you know where James Cameron was on 9/11?
No.
Things I learned, James Cameron was diving the Titanic's wreck as the 9/11 attacks happened. Now, my understanding is that not only was he... Oh, wait. Took place, he found out after returning. So let me see if I can find the exact thing that I heard. Because what I heard is that not only was he, like, diving the Titanic wreck as that was happening, but that he was eating dinner or he was eating like a meal in like the dinner area of the Titanic, like as the planes were crashing in. But yeah, Bill Paxton and James Cameron were having lunch on the deck of the Titanic.
What the hell?
Bill Paxton, by the way, of all people. I just love that. I love that James Cameron is like, I figured this thing out, and now I do what I want. Forever.
Jeez. Dude, the only thing about Avatar was just were the visuals. Like, everyone went to go see the crazy IMAX quality visuals for that movie. That's why it ended up being so popular. Like, no one gave a crap about the overall story. Like, it's just you did some crazy visuals. That's what people went to go see, and you like pushed forward the movie making technology. That's all he did with Avatar. Other than that, he gave us a below average story.
Poor James Cameron. What will he ever do?
Yeah, so it's like he has these plans for an Avatar 2 and like all the way up through 5. I'm like, are you serious? What? Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, that's going to be nothing, by the way.
Yeah, that's going to be less than nothing. Like, unless he does some like crazy technological feat with it, like something that no movie maker has ever done. Like, there's going to be like those movies are just going to like do so poorly.
Listen, you are the same guy that defends Murder on the Orient Express, so I don't know how much we can trust this. I've never seen either. I've never seen
Murder on the Orient Express is infinitely better than Avatar.
Oh, good Lord. Caleb, do you have any more upcoming movies that you're excited for?
This year, I do have a level of excitement for the Mario movie.
Yeah, by the way, I read it's still untitled. How do they not call it just the Mario movie?
Yeah, like, or just Super Mario Brothers, just something.
Just Super Mario. How about just Super Mario?
Yeah.
Because by the way, here's the one thing that I think though that is going to aggravate me is if they treat Luigi like Tails, and they're like, you might see Luigi in the second movie. Like, no, just put him in here. We all know there's not going to be a second movie, so just put him in now.
Yeah. Dude, we freaking called it with Bowser, though. Jack Black voicing Bowser. that was like when we did like a super quick casting of Mario. That's exactly who we put in as Bowser.
That's amazing. Hold on, let me see here. On IMDb, do we know who all is cast? I know it's
yeah,
Chris Pratt and Jack Black.
Shit, what's her name? Oh, not that one.
But
I typed in Mario and clicked on the Super Mario Brothers.
By the way, I saw that one too, and it made me sad because I don't care what anybody's. That is the movie I will die on the hill for every time.
Really?
Yeah. That was a movie that we taped. My mother and father, they taped it for me off of HBO or Showtime, whatever it was. And when I tell you that I used to come home every day from school and I would pop that VHS into the VHS player and I would watch Super Mario Bros. The movie every day. I watched that movie every day because that was a time, Caleb, when you didn't get many of those. So you just said, this is Super Mario Bros. In real life. And I love John Leguizamo and the guy from Roger Rabbit.
Dude, I've
this
seen
is
that movie.
Amazing.
I've seen that movie twice. Once when I was like 8, and I was like, "What is this?" Like, I did not realize that this was. I thought like I remember my reaction to watching it. I thought I got the wrong movie. And I was just like, I took it back to Blockbuster, and I was like, I think this movie's wrong. The guy like looked, and he's like,
No, sir.
No, it's not. And I'm like, but it didn't have anything to do. And he's like, I know, that's just the movie. And I was like, okay,
sir, that is what it is.
Yeah. And then I watched it again as an adult, and I'm just like, good hell.
I can't find it on IMDb anywhere. It's not even on Chris Pratt's like upcoming stuff. Am I dumb? Like, why can't I find this?
I have it.
All right.
Yeah. So let's see. We got Anya
Untitled
Taylor-Joy.
Illumination Entertainment. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy voicing Princess Peach. Seth Rogen voicing Donkey Kong.
Oh, the Queen's Gambit lady. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, Seth Rogen, Donkey Kong, Chris Pratt, Mario, Fred Armisen, Cranky Kong.
That's amazing. That is an amazing. Key my key. Dude, Keegan-Michael Key being Toad. I'm calling it right now. He's going to get Best Supporting Actor nomination.
Kevin Michael Richardson playing Kamek.
I don't know who that is, but I do know who Sebastian Maniscalco is playing Spike. Sebastian Maniscalco. What?
Oh, Kamek is the little witch thing.
Charles Marinette is in this movie, but not as Mario. Get out of my face.
Yeah.
Or wait, is this not the guy? Yeah. Oh no, he's Luigi. He's gonna be Luigi for sure.
You think?
Wait, hold on. Yeah, in Mario Superstars, he's Mario, Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi. In WarioWare, he does the voice of Wario.
Yeah, he's been doing the Mario voice since the beginning.
It looks like he's been doing the Luigi voice for a minute, too.
Yeah, he's the voice of all of them.
Yeah, by the way, I get it. Like, he's probably going to do, like, the wahoo, waha, where Chris Pratt is going to be like, hey, everybody, it's me, Mario. I love spaghetti or whatever. But, yeah, I don't know, man. I like Chris Pratt a lot. Don't know that I necessarily need him to be Mario.
Yeah. I really hope we get some news about Luigi. Like, because he's not on this list. Like,
I guarantee you that's what the homeboy is. The guy whose name I can't remember now.
The Chris Martinet.
Yes.
I feel like they...
Let's see.
I want to look and see if, like, anyone... Yeah, they don't have anything for Luigi. Oh! Yes, they do. Chris Pratt and Charlie Day are Mario and Luigi.
That's hilarious. I like those guys. I don't want them to be those guys. I want it to be the guy.
Dude, I have so much, like, I don't want to call it anxiety, so many, like, hesitations, I'll call them, towards this movie, because I need to see what they look like. Like, what they're going to look like, what the animation is going to look like.
Like, this is not, listen, I want this to be good because I think in the back of all of our minds, what we really want is a Legend of Zelda movie. Like, that's the real movie that everybody wants. But the reality is this movie almost can't be good. It almost can't be good. Because after what happened with the 1993 debacle, there is no way that Nintendo is going to even begin to loosen their grip on this movie. Not even a little bit. So I don't know, man. Like, they're great at making video games. I don't know how great they are at making movies.
We will find out. Apparently there is a Donkey Kong spin-off film in works if this movie is successful.
I mean, good for Seth Rogen, I guess, but if there's a spinoff, the spinoff I want and need is Link's adventures. I just need us to follow Link on his path to becoming the defeater of Ganon.
I've gone back and forth on this a lot, and I want your opinion. If they do a Legend of Zelda, live action or animated?
Tom Holland. Oh, what? Yeah.
Live action or animated?
Oh, you're asking me.
Yeah.
Live action or animated?
I've gone back and forth on this a lot.
If it was not made by Nintendo, or not made by Nintendo, but Nintendo was like funding it, nah. God, that's a tougher question than I want. I think if Nintendo was willing to work with the people writing and directing that movie the same way that Netflix deals with the way that, you know, like they let people make movies, like they if they dealt with the people writing and directing the same way that Netflix deals with Adam Sandler and is like basically like, we're gonna foot the bill for what you want to do, then I would like to see it live action. I think that because then even if it was bad, there's still a chance that it could happen again if Nintendo's like, oh, we might fund a new one. But if Nintendo is full on, like, it's got to be animated. It can't be. I don't know. Because here's the real thing. Now that we're actually saying it, talking about it, and I'm not just thinking it in my head, I don't even know if I want this. I don't even know if I want it. You know what I might actually want instead is like a cool Metroid movie.
Metroid, I feel, would work really well in live action.
Yes. I mean, they're making a Halo series. How could they not make a freaking Metroid series?
I'm excited for that one too.
The Halo series is going to be weird because like, good for Paramount Plus for snagging that one up, because they're definitely going to get some people's dollars on that one. But how far can you go with not seeing Master Chief's face in a show? Because it's going to not be about him at all, like the games are. And I don't know how long people will put up with that. Because it's only going to be about the people who can take their helmets off, which he can't. Because if he takes his helmet off, people will riot in the streets.
Yeah, like, I mean, they've gone however long without seeing his face in the games.
No, that's what I mean. Like, so in the show, but it's different because you are him. Like, people are interacting with you, and then you are saying like, oh, whatever, and then you're going to do the thing. You're not just watching Master Chief and then these four other dorks just like, hey, man, I think there's something wrong with him. We got to give him a Cortana to keep him under wraps.
I mean, they kind of gave like a little bit of a sneak peek in one of the trailers.
Of what?
Of like the back of Master Chief's head.
I'm almost 100% positive they've done that in games before too, where they show him like holding his helmet, like it's off, but you can't see him. You just know that his helmet is off, but you can't see his head.
What if they handled it like the Mandalorian?
They listen. It's different because no one knew Din Djarin before this showed up. Like, we just had this thing of like, oh, for some reason Mandalorians aren't allowed to take their helmet off, and he ended up doing it, and we're like, whoa, it's that guy from that TV show that everybody saw. Whereas Master Chief, like, it has been like set in stone for like now decades and games, 5 or 6 games, that no, we don't talk about Master Chief's face.
I don't understand why they couldn't just do that. Like, I mean, they have it seems like they have a decent cast that aren't going to be wearing full-faced helmets or just wearing their helmets all the time. Like, I don't understand why do you think people would riot not showing his face or riot showing his face?
If they showed his face, people would burn Paramount Pluses in effigy in the streets.
Yeah, that I absolutely agree with.
Yeah, no.
But
I mean, listen, And the reason you can't see his face or hear his voice really is because maybe hear his voice, but like all I ever think of is like it was great that we never heard Link's voice until you heard him in that Link cartoon or in that Zelda cartoon, the infamous "Excuse Me, Princess" episode. Like, if you just type into YouTube "Excuse Me, Princess," you will get like a freaking 20-minute "Excuse me, Princess." Well, excuse me, Princess, and it's just Link saying that over and over. And everyone was unanimously like, let's go ahead and shut him up again forever. Even at the cost of, in Breath of the Wild, it's going to be super weird for him not to talk. But no, you're not allowed to talk.
Yeah, but Master Chief has a voice.
But he doesn't have a face.
Yeah. So I'm on your team with not releasing or not revealing his face. But I feel like they could keep that going. Like, I think people would be like, "What's behind?" Like, I think people would throw that like little fit, but
it's different when you're looking at him than when you're playing him. Because when you're playing him, it's supposed to be you doing the action or whatever. But if you're just watching him do it, eventually you're going to start asking the correct questions, which is, when does this guy go to the bathroom? When does he clean off, I don't know, the stuff covering his, all the freaking alien guts covering up his visor? Like, when does he do all of these things? And the questions that you ask during a video game, but you write it off to it's a video game. Yeah.
Damn it, now you got me questioning my excitement about this show.
No. That is no. This should not. I don't think this should question the excitement for the show, because the show looks amazing. I saw the preview or the trailer for it. It looks amazing. I just wonder how far they can take that until it's like, all right, we either got to end this thing or show his face or kill him. And that can't happen.
Yeah, I definitely don't think they should kill him.
No, they will definitely not kill him.
I think you could pull an Anakin Darth Vader helmet break thing if you wanted. Like, maybe something happens to his helmet so you like see some of his face.
It's a Judge Dredd situation.
Yeah, I mean, listen, bit of a Judge Dredd. Like,
did you see?
Yeah, Judge Dredd. Like, they didn't show Carl Urban's face at all, and no one had any problems with it.
Because it was a movie, just one movie.
Whatever. Like,
by the way, never will you see that happen again, where someone lets their face be covered the whole entire movie. Never, ever, never. Like, that was amazing that happened during that movie. I would argue that is Judge Dredd, Dredd was one of the best comic book movies ever put to film. Because they stayed true in that way to it. But when is that ever going to happen again? Really? Not with anybody with a name. You think they're going to hire Tom Holland and let them cover 2/3 of his face for the whole movie? No.
Well, when did Judge Dredd come out? Like early 2000s? Or later?
Judge Dredd was like the perfect storm of, it came out in a time when people didn't really care too much for comic book movies, and no one really knew who Carl Urban was yet. And so they were like, we want to put you in this movie where no one's going to see your face. And he was like, whatever, bro, paycheck time. Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I do like that he's still like super proud of that movie. Like, he still has the helmet and badge and everything.
It came out in 2012, so not as long ago as I thought. I don't know why I thought this thing came out in like 2010, 2009.
Huh.
Yeah, he should be proud of that movie, by the way. That movie, you can see the direct line between that movie and The Boys.
Oh my gosh, dude, The Boys. I'm so excited for the next season of that. That's supposed to come out this year, right?
I don't know. We live in a weird time. Like, I never, when I was a kid, thought that I would get to see stuff this cool. Never, ever. Which is why we have to put up with stuff like, Avatar 2 coming out.
Yeah.
For every Avatar 2, you have to have a Dredd. or vice versa, I guess.
But yeah, I'm excited for this, like getting back into it, like for the Mario movie.
Yes,
like just for right now, like knowing what we have so far, which is basically just a cast.
I'm excited. That's the thing too. Now that you say that, what could that movie possibly be about? Like, they've done everything.
Yeah.
What has Mario not done besides get a real job?
So apparent, like, I'm on the Wikipedia page for this right now. That's where I found the Charlie Day casting announcement.
Mm-hmm.
So Sebastian Maniscalco,
Yes.
he is voicing Spike.
Yes.
Which, do you know who Spike is?
Spike, I'm pretty sure, is one of the Koopa kids, if I'm not correct, or if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong. Am I wrong?
You are. You might not be. Like, I'm. Spike actually does sound like one of those people, but the Spike that he is playing is Mario and Luigi's boss from the game Wrecking Crew.
Foreman Spike. Oh, wait. Because, see, there's Foreman Spike, which is what you're talking about, but there's also Spike, Super Mario Wiki, the Mario Encyclopedia. So from New Super Mario Bros. U, there is another character called Spike. Let's see here. And he does look like a Koopa kid. Spikes are Koopa enemies that throw spiked balls or bars, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So we have no idea, is what we're getting at. They both have.
So Sebastian announced that in August. He said that he's playing Spike, Mario and Luigi's boss.
You know what's funny is he announced that. Apparently, I saw that on IMDb that he said it on Bert Kreischer's podcast, and I did hear it. It's funny because as soon as I read that, I was like, "Oh yeah, he did say that he was doing like voice work for Mario." But are you looking at the same picture that I am of Spike, the boss Spike? I don't know. You probably can't see it.
Oh, good hell.
He looks like what you would imagine Waluigi would look like.
A little bit. That's like early concept Waluigi art.
It's horrible. Oh my god.
I am willing.
Oh, so maybe he will have a real job. Is that what you were getting at? That he's going to have a real job?
Yeah. So I think Mario and Luigi are going to be plumbers in the quote unquote real world and get transferred to, somehow teleported to the Mushroom Kingdom. Oh my gosh, they're just going to recreate Super Mario Brothers.
Or are they going to do some weird like reverse of Super Mario Odyssey where they're doing their job in New Donk City? And instead of ending in New Donk City, they're going to
Yes.
That's where they're going to start.
Oh my gosh.
What a weird time we live in that we can say things like New Donk City, and there's a definite giant group of people who are like, we know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh shit. Oh my gosh. Dude, this movie's is going to be insane. This movie is going to be insane.
I hope so, honestly. I hope it is going to be insane.
Like,
by the way, wait a minute. Oh, this is Dread. I'm sorry. I thought I was still looking at the Untitled Mario movie, and on IMDb, it gives you like a parent's guide, and the first one that it gives you is sex and nudity, and it says moderate, and I was like, what? It's like in a Mario movie? What are they talking about?
Oh my gosh, dude, that'd be hilarious. This movie is either going to be... I do not feel like this is going to be like a great movie.
No.
This is going to be a an adequate movie, or it's going to be a complete shit show.
I think it's going to be a swing and a miss, and I'm going to tell you why, and we can move on if you want. I know we've talked a lot about Mario, but this is why I think it's going to be a swing and a miss, is because I feel like this is like the Nintendo saw and or heard or just anticipated how people were actually going to react to the Sonic movie. And we're like, we cannot let Sonic the Hedgehog rule the silver screen. We must be on the silver screen as well with our man Mario. And I think that Sonic is going to. I still haven't seen the first Sonic, and I promise you, the first Sonic will be better than this Mario movie. That is my guarantee.
Dude, for sure. Like, there are no doubts about that. I mean, speaking of Sonic 2, that's one I'm super excited for.
I cannot. That is coming out this year sooner than later, I think, right?
Yeah, I think it comes out. I want to say it's March.
Man, if it's March, that's great. I need to get freaking on it. April 8th. Okay. April 8th.
It's 1 month off.
Still closer than not.
Yeah, super excited for that one, and we are definitely getting you on for that.
Yeah, I have got to. I will make it. My mission right now is to make sure that I watch Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse first and foremost, Sonic, the first Sonic, and then Sonic 2. Sonic finally eats a chili dog.
Yeah. Other than the ones that we've listed, there's nothing else that, like, I mean, other than, like, Across the Spider-Verse, nothing else in, like, 2022 that I'm, like, super hyped for, other than all of the Marvel stuff we're gonna get.
I mean, it was. That's why I didn't even mention it, because, like, of course, like, what of the Marvel? You've got your Wakanda Forever, you've got your Thor: Love and Thunder, you've got your Doctor Strange and the myriad of mad things that are coming to you. Probably a Spider-Man, but who knows? What else? The stuff that's coming on to Disney Plus, I'm sure. Freaking, I don't know if it's coming out this year, but I know that they were like, hey, everybody, that's kind of a spoiler. Are we far enough away that I can say a small spoiler on Spider-Man No Way Home, do you think?
Yeah. Anyone who didn't see the movie knows.
Yeah, well, it's, again, a minor spoiler in the hierarchy of No Way Home spoilers. But yeah, they're kicking back Daredevil for either, like, I don't think it's going to be rebooted with Charlie Cox, but I think they are just going to do a new season and most likely put it on Disney Plus. So yeah, like, you know what's funny? After No Way Home came out, Daredevil on Netflix, like that, the 3 seasons of Daredevil, those, like, shot way up into, like, the top 10 of what was being watched on Netflix.
Not even a little bit surprising.
Yeah, I mean, they were great shows at the time, so yeah.
I do feel like they're taking a different route a little bit with like a more Disney friendly route,
which
with,
sucks,
like,
by the way,
because of what we saw in Hawkeye, where Kingpin was damn near inhuman.
That was crazy. But, well, it's funny because Kingpin is weird because his, like, invulnerability, like, they kind of explain away where they're like, he does have this bulletproof suit that he wears all the time for no good reason. It was like, because that was the like, established in Daredevil, right? He had his, like, stab proof bulletproof suit that he wore all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, when Kate was fighting him, I was like, is this guy, did he get zapped with some kind of gamma ray as well? Because this dude seems to be impenetrable.
Yeah. That's, I did not care for that, because it just seemed like he was superhuman, and I'm like, that's not the Kingpin we know.
So, wait, I'm going to tell you this. This is something everyone should know. Were you a fan of Futurama?
Yeah. I love
So,
Futurama.
Futurama Revival ordered at Hulu with multiple original cast members.
Dude, no shit.
Yes. Yes. So that is something we can all be excited for.
I'm so ready for this.
That's so funny. This is okay. So this is what I'm going to just read this to you as it is. Good news. Good news, everyone. Futurama is being revived at Hulu. It is written that way. Variety has learned that the streaming service has ordered 20 new episodes of the adult animated sci-fi comedy series. The revival hails from David X. Cohen and Matt Groening. Cohen developed the original series, blah, blah, blah. Original series cast members Billy West, Katie Seagal, Tress MacNeille, Maurice Lamar, Lauren Tom, Phil Lamar, all the people. So here's the thing. John DiMaggio, who voiced Bender and several minor characters, is not currently attached. According to an individual with knowledge of the project, the producers are hopeful DiMaggio will return. Should that not happen, Bender will be recast. To which I say,
That's
no,
a mistake.
thank you. That is a huge mistake. Hey, I want to write them a letter and be like, hey, if you think that recasting someone that can't be attached to your thing is good, I would like you to watch The Matrix 4, please. And you tell me if they shouldn't have waited for old what's-his-pants to finish with his theater troupe so that he could be part of this movie again. Hugo Weaving. I couldn't think of his name. Yeah. No, don't do this. Just have Bender have been shot into space.
I honestly hope that this is just a scheduling conflict that gets resolved, because I feel like every interview that I've seen with John DiMaggio and people talk about his Futurama days, he looks back on them with like such love.
They all do. Like, that is such a great, like, it is possibly, I think that I would have to say that is, if not my favorite show, like definitely in my top 5 favorite shows of all time. Like, Futurama there's just nothing that compares to that show.
Yeah. I've been going through, anytime, like, just lost all my words. I go back and rewatch Futurama a lot.
Yes.
It is such a rewatchable show. Like, it's so much fun. I do that with Futurama, Adventure Time. Dude, that show is so good. Which, funny enough, another John DiMaggio voice.
Speaking of shows to watch forever, have you watched Steven Universe yet?
No.
Dude, it's perfect. You can watch it with your child and you can weep openly in front of her. And be like, this was not supposed to be this way. Why? Why is this show like this? Steven Universe is an amazing show. It starts out as an amazing show, and then it gets super deep in ways that you are not ready for. I don't know, whatever. I could talk about Steven. We could do another whole episode on just my peripheral thoughts on that show. Definitely check it out. We're just talking about TV shows now, Caleb.
Yeah, I know.
But
anyway.
Well, that is upcoming though. Futurama coming back to Hulu at an undisclosed time. So thank you, sweet baby Jesus.
That takes a spot on my list now. Like, hell, that's up there with Obi-Wan.
Oh wow! Wait, as of February. Wait, is today the 9th? Today's the 9th, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so apparently, whatever. I lost it. But the homeboy tweeted, let me see if I can find it again.
DiMaggio?
Yes. He's like, thanks for the concern and the props, everyone. I really appreciate it. Don't worry, I'll keep you posted. But until then, cheese it. #BenderGate. Which makes me think that he is just waiting. Like, it really is just a scheduling conflict now, and he's just waiting to be unconflicted so that he can be attached to it. Because Because, yeah, I can't imagine everyone else would come back and they would be like, well, we'll go on without John. I'm like, no.
That would be
Listen,
the
one of the greatest things that ever happened to me, I put out a tweet for the Untrained Eye, and one of the memes that I put had Fry from Futurama in it, and I tagged Billy West, and he liked the meme and made a little comment, and I was like, this is the greatest day of my life. Billy West, because Billy West, in case you don't know, Billy West voices Fry and everything else, and he voiced Ren and Stimpy. He has done every voice of my childhood. So that was yeah, that was my bragging moment. Billy West noticed me once.
Dude,
for a second.
Awesome. That is so cool.
By the way, I had delusions of grandeur. I was like, he did like that tweet. Maybe I could get him on the show. But even if I did, what would I ask him? I'd be like, dude, wasn't that crazy when you were on Futurama? Wasn't that crazy, man?
Oh, yeah. 2022 is going to be bitching.
I agree.
Then I only had two not Marvel related things for 2023.
Give it to us.
Or not MCU, I should say, because one of them's Across the Spider-Verse Part 2.
Now, that's coming out next year?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Part 1's coming out this year, and then I think it's super late in the year, and then Part 2 is supposed to come out shortly after that. So
okay.
I think the Part 1 is going to come out November, December, and then Part 2 is supposed to come out May and June. I think.
Now,
Don't quote me on that.
I haven't seen the first movie, but is there any worry that this movie is not going to be able to hold up to what the first one gave you?
I would be genuinely surprised if it doesn't hold up.
Okay.
It's an amazing movie, and Sony would have to throw the ball completely backwards to screw it up.
Well, can I tell you about the Sony throwing the ball completely backwards to screw it up? Did you hear where No Way Home is going to be streaming soon?
Oh, isn't it Stars?
It's Stars. Anyway, I'm sure that's going to be fine. Really? Name me anyone. If you can find one person that's not Jason Alme that is subscribed to Stars that listens to this show, I will personally send them one. I
was going to say listens to this show, because I have one person.
You've got at least two, because I listen to. Wait a minute. What do you mean?
To Stars?
What? No. Oh, I thought you meant listens to your show. I was like, you only have one person that listens to your show? That seems unbelievable. I don't believe that.
No, I meant one person that's subscribed to Stars. But then you got me with listens to this show. I think my wife is subscribed to Stars.
That doesn't count. And does she listen?
No.
Oh, I was going to say, I feel like you told me that she didn't. I'm going to mention again, she should be on for Memoirs of a Geisha. But anyway.
Oh my gosh, dude. I saw that movie. So good.
You guys are missing. That was the most animated I've ever seen Caleb ever. He's like, guys, eyes completely wide open. So good. Please, I'm telling you, convince your wife one time to just do one episode and make it be. That's her movie, right? Memoirs of a Geisha, right? Get her to do it just once. We just talked about nonsense for, I don't know, 2 hours?
Give or take.
People would much rather hear you talk to your lovely wife about Memoirs of a Geisha, a movie I couldn't tell you one thing about other than it sounds very foreign.
It's a great movie. It's on Netflix right now. Highly recommend. It is a long one. So set some time aside. But dude, I was like I was only like 10 minutes in, and I was asking my wife all these questions. Like, wait, what is happening right now?
I mean, I am interested. I'm more interested than I've ever been, and I've known of that movie since it came out, when it was in theaters. So,
Yeah. Okay. We had this movie night where we were watching each. So, like, I made her watch The Ballad of Buster Scruggs because that's like one of my favorite movies, and I was like so super invested in it. She was not. And we had like a little bit of a discussion after it was over, and she's just like, okay, that was fun. And I'm like, it wasn't fun, it was deep, and like just metaphors for death. And she's like, nah, and like, whatever. And then I watched like Memoirs of Geisha, and I was just like, wanted to talk about it forever. And she's like, yeah, it's good, huh? And I'm like, no, we need to talk about this.
You have been hiding this from me this whole time, woman.
I know. I feel like I just get way more invested in movies than she does.
That'll happen, but I'm just telling you, have her on one time.
Yeah, we were talking about it. We were talking about it, and I'm like, I feel like I like this movie better than you.
Why am I a bigger fan of your movie?
Anyway,
you're getting a tattoo of a geisha on your forearm.
Anyway, back to Spider-Verse.
Yes.
What were you asking about it?
The only thing I was asking is if you thought that number 2, whatever, the Across the Spider-Verse, if you think it's going to have a fighting chance to hold up against the first movie.
If they have just as good of a story to go off of, I absolutely think that it will hold up. And from the looks of it, or from the sound of it, it sounds like they will. One thing that I really like that they're doing, with them traveling to different multiverses, the animation style is going to change with each one.
Does that happen in the first movie? Do they go to different?
So
can you tell me about it without ruining it?
The different Spider-Man come into Miles's universe. So with this one, Miles is going to be traveling to theirs.
Gotcha.
Or not to like. Well, pretty sure it's not going to be the same ones, just different Spider-Man's universes.
Gotcha.
But when they came to Miles' universe, they kind of kept their own style. Like, they all were pretty much the same. The only one that stood out more than everyone else was Spider-Ham.
I don't know why I really did think you were going to say Spider Noir, since it was Nicolas Cage. It was Nicolas Cage, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so once they didn't really show him in their universe that much. The only ones the only other universes you got to see were like the main Spider-Man and Spider-Gwen.
Mm.
But their animation style is like exactly the same as Miles.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, the only ones that had different ones were Spider Noir, Spider Ham, and then Penny, who was a like more anime girl. So I guess she kept her animation style too. So hopefully they keep true to that logic where they keep Miles's animation the same, but the world around him is animated different. But that's going to be that's going to be crazy because they're going to have Spider-Man 2099, which I want a live action 2099 Spider-Man so bad.
Sorry, I'm not as adept at all the Spider-Man I know there's a lot of them. That's all I know
Yeah.
for sure.
The 2099 Spider-Man's pretty cool. I would love to see him in live action if Marvel can like get out of their staying in the continuity. Like just do, like if they can get to a point where they can do one-offs and people are okay with it, that's like one-off I would love to see. But yeah, so super excited for that, and it being separated into two parts makes me super excited.
Yeah, because it seems like it's going to be kind of epic if they're going to split it up. Because how long? I just had it pulled up. How long is it going to be? It doesn't say. I was trying to see what the runtime, if it had one, but it does not yet for the Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. But I would imagine it's going to at least be an hour and a half. So if they're both an hour and a half, you're looking at a 3-hour movie. An epic.
Yeah. With a two-parter like this, I'm willing to bet they probably go longer too. Maybe closer to 2 hours.
Maybe. I don't know.
But yeah, super excited for that. And then the other one I'm really excited for that's not Marvel related is Blue Beetle.
Why do I know this? What is this?
This is a DC hero. It's kind of like the DC's version of Spider-Man, but it's this kid who gets a scarab stuck to his back, like an alien scarab, and it gives him a suit that makes him Blue Beetle. It's going to be starring the kid Miguel from Cobra Kai, if you watch that.
Oh, God, he looks so different on his IMDb page. Zolo, I couldn't possibly say his last name. But yeah. I know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah, so I've been a big fan of Blue Beetle for a long time. And the only other time that we've seen him in live action was for some one-off episode of Smallville.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking. Maybe I did hear, maybe it was you guys talk about it or something. Because I swear I've heard of it. But this is supposed to be live action?
Yeah. The DC fan event or the DC fandom released some concept art for the suit, and apparently the actor's already tried on the suit, and he says it's awesome.
But here's the thing too. This is going to be one more thing that is going to look cool, probably be cool, and then people are going to go, now how does this fit into anything? Because again, that's the other thing that we all seem to have forgotten, that I forgot because I haven't watched it in forever, is Doom Patrol, which is also a DC joint, which is also very good, which also cannot fit into any of the DC properties as they currently stand.
Well, they did kind of have an appearance in the Flash TV show.
Okay.
Like they had a Crisis on Infinite Earths event, and they were like one of the universes that they showed.
They also technically were in a couple of the Teen Titan Go episodes. So there you go. But if you've seen on HBO the Doom Patrol, they're not for anything other than what they're for. If they're not able to drop F-bombs and rip people in half, then what are we doing here?
Yeah. I think DC has done a pretty decent job at setting up their multiverse. Kind of.
Only in
the CW shows.
I was gonna say and even that, that's all coming to an end. I was watching something the other day on TikTok, someone showing some first couple of seasons, what they were doing in the Flash, and then they had the Flash, they had Grant Gustin's Flash and somebody else, another speedster. They were chasing a guy on a motorcycle and they couldn't catch up to him. And the guy that was commenting was like, he's on a motorcycle. It's a motorcycle. And the guy's just on the motorcycle shooting back at them with a gun. And he's like, what are you doing, CW? He's on a motorcycle. Like, what are we doing here? They're speedsters.
Yeah, they're a little inconsistent about the speed of the speedsters.
Because sometimes they can go back in time and
like, oh my gosh, in the Arrow, there's this character John Diggle.
Yes,
and
love that guy.
He was just like his own, like, just an original character for the entirety of the show, and then at the end he suddenly like adopts the last name Stewart, so he becomes John Stewart and then gets a Green Lantern ring. I'm like, what?
That's, by the way, hilarious. I clearly dipped out before that happened because I was like, what are you talking about? So wait, that's how it ends for him?
Yeah.
He just lanterns away. Just, all right, guys, see y'all in the alien world. Bye.
No, he doesn't even like fully lantern away. So what?
Because he was Guardian. That's what he was before, right? That was his thing.
So that's how the Crisis of Infinite Earths thing ends, which Arrow had already ended. So that's how they concluded his story. He's like driving. This comet comes and hits the ground next to his truck. He gets out and he sees this box, pulls it out, opens it up. It glows green. And apparently he adopts his wife's maiden name, which was Stewart. I'm like, this is so dumb. But everyone still calls him Diggle because he made a cameo appearance in The Flash later, and so it like the ring was apparently like messing with him psychologically, so it was like he couldn't quite help the Flash out how he like needed to or wanted to.
Like how he should have been able to as a lantern.
Yeah, no, he wasn't even a lantern. He was still like, I forget what his
Guardian.
Yeah, Guardian. So he was still like Guardian and he was helping the Flash, but then he like would be like, yeah, I'm gonna go with you. Oh, my head. And then and then he like was like out of the game for the rest of the episode, and then he's just like, I got something I gotta go take care of. And then
if someone could only vibe this migraine away,
Yeah. Oh, well, they can't do that anymore because they took away his Vibes powers.
I thought he got them back though, or got different powers or something.
He didn't get them back. He like fakes them with technology.
That's what it was. That's what it was. What a By the way, Cisco is he is hands down my favorite person in the DC anything. Like Cisco, I would live and die for that man.
Oh my gosh. Dude, that show just got real hard to watch. I tried like I sat down, I was just like, okay, I'm going to go through all of the CW shows and get caught up. I got caught up on Flash and I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I tried watching Legends of Tomorrow, got real cheesy, so I stopped. Tried watching Supergirl, got bored, stopped. Batwoman, same thing. The one show that I have kind of been keeping up on has Superman and Lois. That one's pretty good.
I have not seen. I'm glad that one is good because I didn't think anything of it. Like I barely liked the Superman when he would show up on Supergirl and was like, yeah, whatever. And then we're giving him his own show. I was like, well, good luck.
Yeah, it's pretty good. They take it a lot more serious than the other shows. So that's kind of what I really dug about it. And it feels a lot more cinematic too. So it's not like super bright and everything. It's like dark. Like it has some very like dark themes. It's kind of like they took a little shade of Arrow and threw it in there, and it's working out really well.
Is it streaming anywhere, or is it only on television?
It's on HBO Max.
Oh, well, I might have to take a gander at that.
Yeah. I'm only halfway through the first season, but I've been digging it so far.
Excuse me.
It has a completely different tone from the other shows. Like it more matches Arrow, which Arrow was my favorite of all of them for a while.
Yeah, Arrow I think stayed what you wanted it to be for the longest, whereas the other ones kind of spun out of control, but were so good, especially with the Flash. Like the Flash was so good that even when it started spinning out and being stupid, you're like, it was so good, it's got to come back, and it just doesn't ever come back.
Yeah, I feel like they just kind of ran out of speedsters for him to fight.
It was, I don't know, whatever. Again, that we could, I feel like there could be like a super show of like the CW Arrowverse, where we all talk about how great it was, and then whatever is happening now.
Yeah. Other than that, like I said, everything else is Marvel, so I'm pretty sure you can make your guesses. Tell me if this one counts. Kraven the Hunter?
I just heard someone who had just got attached to that to be Kraven.
Aaron something Johnson. So Quicksilver.
No. To play Kraven?
Yeah, he was cast as Kraven.
Are you sure? I swear I saw something. Oh, maybe that was Wait, who? Kraven the Hunter.
I think it was Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Oh, that's what I read. Russell Crowe joins Aaron Taylor Johnson in Sony Marvel movie Kraven the Hunter. That I don't know why I when I read that earlier, I read that as Russell Crowe will be Kraven the Hunter. But no, he apparently is now going to be in that movie as well.
I bet he's playing like his dad or something like that.
Son, you're a real Kraven hunter.
Yeah, so that movie, I have some decent hopes for it.
I like, we are now we were already at the outer limits of where my Marvel knowledge was like 5 years into the MCU. So like now that we are fully into the multiverse area and like our Kraven the Hunters, and we're starting to bring in other, like, I have no idea who any of these people are. None. Like, I've heard Kraven the Hunter. I know enough now, but like I don't really, like, I have no frame of reference at all. So everything I see is going to be amazing.
Yeah. Like, I can identify a lot of Spider-Man's villains. I couldn't tell you their backstory to save my life. Like, the only thing I know about Kraven the Hunter is the stuff I saw from him in the 90s Spider-Man TV show.
Well, here's what's crazy is, speaking of Spider-Man villains, I really thought in No Way Home we were going to see Kingpin, because I have only traditionally known Kingpin as a Spider-Man villain, not necessarily a Daredevil one. So that was kind of crazy to not. I really honestly was like, they are going to at least allude to, and nope. I mean, they alluded to Kingpin in the sense that, like, he was in Spider-Man was in New York at the end.
Yeah, pretty much.
But other than that, they were like, we're not going to talk about him. I was like, okay, we don't talk about Kingpin.
Yeah. Yeah, looking through the rest of my list, there's like one movie that I don't know how to feel about.
Go for it.
Have you seen the or they don't have anything, but heard anything about Wonka?
I feel like I just heard something about that today, maybe. Like, and is this the reboot again? Or no. Is this the one with Dune Kid, and it's supposed to be like a
Timothy
prequel?
Chalamet?
Where it's like a prequel, and he goes to like steal away the Oompa Loompas, and put them into bondage in his chocolate factory.
That is exactly it. It's supposed to be a Willy Wonka origin movie.
Yeah, I for sure do not want this. Like, I get that Timothy Chalamet is like the new, I don't know what he's supposed to be the new thing of, like the new person that we're supposed to care about as an actor. And maybe at 38, I am too old to I don't know, appreciate young actors, but I don't see it in this kid. Like,
Yeah.
I see it. Let me put it this way. I barely see it in Tom Holland. Like, him being in Uncharted, I'm like, all right, I guess if I squint, you can be in Uncharted. But just know you're on thin ice, Tom. Like, you still look like a baby. You're no one. It's very hard to believe that you are a freaking weathered, I don't know, Indiana
Adventure.
Jones character. Yeah, you just don't strike me as that. So, okay, fine. But Timothy Chalamet, like, first of all, having more easy to pronounce name. Second of all, being a movie that is not having two parts to it. Dune 1. Let's see, what else has he done?
He was in Little Women, and
Oh, apparently he was just in Don't Look Up.
dude, oh my gosh,
I haven't seen it yet. Is it good?
No, do not waste your time.
He was in Lady Bird.
It's a star-studded movie, and it is a oh shit. It's a I just lost.
Can I just pause you?
words.
There is in development right now. He is in development for a movie called Going Electric, and he will be playing Bob Dylan. Get out of here. Not young Bob Dylan, just as Bob Dylan.
Oh, good hell.
And he will be in, don't worry everyone, in 2023, he will be in Dune Part 2, the sequel. So yeah, no, Wonka, in conclusion, can we leave the Wonka bar just eaten and the wrapper in the trash? Can we just move on? Like, we don't need this.
No, we don't. So
Again, we should have, just in the same way that, like, Johnny Depp is in, like, he's in really good movies sometimes. Sometimes Johnny Depp being in a movie is a sign for that movie to not exist and stop making those movies. One of them was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Another one of them was Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them. Hey, we're done with Harry Potter. Stop it. That's the other one that we didn't mention, but, like, Fantastic Beasts and the Secrets of Dumbledore. Hey, no more.
The only Dumbledore secret that I want to know is how he went from, like, cool suits to crazy wizard robes.
I mean, he was a wizard at the end, so, you know, he's the grand wizard, as they say.
Yeah, but do you, like, have to be, like, when you become the headmaster of Hogwarts, do you have to go, like, full wizard?
I don't know, man. Like, I feel like in those movies, they were trying to go more for, like, a Merlin in the Sword and the Stone type deal.
Well, that's how he's described in the books. And then, like, this one, he's, like, in suits.
But this Fantastic Beast nonsense, enough. You're not going to be another Harry Potter. We did Harry Potter already.
Yeah. Leave that universe alone.
We're done with it. And everyone hates what's her face? What's her name?
J.K. Rowling.
Not I almost said yes, J.K. Rowling. Everybody hates her guts because of her opinions, yet they want to celebrate her and continue to give her money by continuing to make that good Harry Potter stuff. I love, by the way, did you see in the a while back they did the HBO, like, Harry Potter retrospective, and
the 20-year reunion,
and kind of, like, left her out for the most part, which is hilarious that they would do that. It's like, oh, okay, well, I guess they're not going to pay her anymore because she wasn't in your little retrospective. Like, oh, okay, yeah, no. You people just didn't want to see her, but the point is that lady has it made. Like, she could say whatever she wants forever.
Yeah. Dude, I thought it was so funny. Like, this was like, they put in the top corner anytime they showed a clip of her talking. This was filmed in 2018 or, like, 2019 interview.
And then the little letters underneath that, before we knew.
That was a good documentary, though. Like,
I never
really
watched it.
It was pretty good. Like, if you like the Harry Potter series. I recommend watching it. And I'm not super into like documentaries or like reunion shit like that. Like Rose tried to get me to watch the Friends one, and I did for like 5 minutes. I'm like, no.
No, I was in the midst of the Friends craze. Like I was watching that show, and I have no interest in it.
Dude, my favorite TikToks are the people being like, I'm going to show you the funniest scenes from Friends. Thank you. It just ends.
Could that be any funnier? Anyway, Chandler jokes, am I right? So what else do we got?
I don't got anything else. I think that covers, like I said, the only things that I haven't talked about was MCU stuff. Like that is just like, just assume that's top list.
Yeah, I mean, this won't be anticipation, but like, when do we know when Moon Knight is gonna drop?
End of March.
Okay. Yeah, it is about to get wild on Disney Plus. We're finally gonna get our $70 a year worth.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
It only took 2.5 years.
I love Moon Knight, but the series that I'm really excited for is She-Hulk. Like that one's going to be insane.
Did you ever watch? This is not Marvel related, but did you ever watch Bad Batch, the show that kind of happened after the Clone Wars? Did you watch that? That supposedly is coming back too in May.
Is it really?
That's what I read peripherally, but I did not read anything official that says that. But I mean, I thought that show was good. I would like to see it come back for another season.
Dude, I loved that show. Dude, I was getting into it with Nate at the Blue Milk Drop, talking about like theories on who would make an appearance in Boba Fett. And this is not a spoiler, so don't worry about it. But I
okay, I was about to say, if you say something, I'm gonna come through this.
No, I'm not gonna spoil anything. My big theory, because I'm like, oh, they're gonna be like, they could introduce so many different people, and my big one was like, oh, what if they brought like Omega into this?
Dude, if they bring like Omega has to show up in live action eventually. Although I don't know how. Omega is great because that show is great. First of all, because I mean, all of the Bad Batch were, no one knew any of them really until like the end, the final season of the Clone Wars, and that's when they showed up. And I like them immediately. But also, again, Omega, like her immediately. I don't know who would play that kid and be even half as charismatic as the cartoon character. So, I don't know. Like, I would like to see all of those show up in live action eventually. But at the same token, they're all kind of so new, all those characters, that I kind of don't want to see them in live action because I like them as they are right now.
Well, we already know who would play the Bad Batch.
Do we?
Yeah, wouldn't it be the guy who's... Oh, shit, what's his name?
Well, but if you look, like, they all kind of look even a little off. Like, they do kind of look like him, but it's like almost like different versions of him because they're not...
yeah, well,
I mean, if you've seen the Bad Batch, you know.
Yeah, they're just like messed up clones.
The Bad Batch.
I mean, you could, like, Hunter is the most like normal of them, more normal looking. Like, he just has long hair, so he'd have to play Hunter. He would have to play Tech because Tech is a reg, just like.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and then what's the big guy's name?
Bruiser, Bowser, what is his name? I can't think of any other names. Let's see. Clone Trooper, Omega, Medical. What? I just looked at all the cast and it only showed me 4 people. That can't be right.
Yeah, well, the big guy is just a reg, just oversized.
Hold on a second. No, that can't be. Does one guy voice everyone in the Bad Batch? That cannot be.
It's D. Bradley Baker.
He voices all of them?
Yeah, he does all of them.
I hope he gets many different paychecks.
Yeah, if you look at his cast, he's just, I think it's in the credits too. It's just D. Bradley Baker, the Bad Batch.
Yeah, that's how he's credited on IMDb. D. Bradley Baker, the Bad Batch, Clone Troopers, Captain Hauser, Captain Rex, Clone Trooper, Captain Gray, Cut, and Gregor. Oh my God, that dude better be getting paid. Paid. That's amazing. Wait a second. What else does this guy...
Dude, he does so many voices. Like, he's in a ton of stuff.
All right, guys. I just realized I got to go. There is a Muppet Babies that has been out since 2018. They revived the Muppet Babies. That was a show from when I was a kid. He's in Peacemaker. All right. I'm sorry.
But yeah, like, other than, like, I forget, like, the big one.
Yeah, since it just says The Bad Batch, I don't know what his name is.
Yeah, which, whoever, like, the name of, like, the big one, like, I feel like Tamura could play that one, too. It's just, like, you just have to, like, CGI him a little bit bigger than everyone else. I think the only other one is, like, the brain guy and
okay, Hunter Wrecker. That's who it is.
Wrecker.
Hunter, Wrecker, Tech, Crosshair, and Echo.
Yeah, so Echo, I think you'd have to get someone else. Tech, you could use him. Wrecker, you could use him, just CGI him a bit. Hunter, use him. And then Crosshair, you'd probably have to get someone else. Maybe.
Yeah, now that we're talking about it, I definitely do not want to see them in live action. Leave them animated, and leave them safe over on Disney Plus.
You don't think they could make it work?
I don't. They've made so much work recently that I don't want. Listen, if The Flash has taught us anything, is that we don't need to push it too far. Because what I have seen out of The Mandalorian, okay, I won't spoil anything for The Mandalorian, what I've seen, but that was pretty amazing to watch. What I have seen so far of the Book of Boba Fett and what has slightly been spoiled for me and I know is coming in that show, like, I am prepared for my brain to just fly out of the front of my skull. I don't know. I don't want it to go too far where they're like, we're just going to jam everybody up in here. Like, no, don't. Like, they've already, listen, I know for a fact, I'm not going to say anything, but I know there is one character that nobody thought was going to make their way to live action that has made their way to live action in the Book of Boba Fett that I'm about to see next, because I have not watched chapter 6 or 7 yet, but I'm about to see that I'm very stoked to see. Yeah, just let everybody just be cool, relax. We're all gonna get there in due time. Maybe Omega will show up in Obi-Wan. Who knows?
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be crazy if it happened.
Yeah, that'd be wild. But whatever the future holds in store for Star Wars, I'm here for.
Yeah, for sure.
I love it. I love everything that's happened with Star Wars so far.
Yeah, by the way, up into and including, again, I know this is a movie podcast, but they are doing like a straight up remaster of Knights of the Old Republic.
I never got to play that, so that is one game I'm definitely getting.
I will tell you this. I played it a little bit on Xbox, like within the past 5 years, and it just went on sale on the Switch recently, and I bought it, and it's like it's good, but it is like very not intuitive. Like there are things that I'm at a point right now to where I'm still pretty close to the beginning, and I'm gonna have to resort to looking on the internet to find out what I do next. Because I'm like, I don't know, man. I've walked around everywhere. I don't know what to do now. So yeah.
So would you get the remastered version?
Absolutely. Just because like I would imagine a lot of that stuff is going to be fixed. As far as like maybe they might be like, hey, maybe check out what's going on over here. And plus like it even now it looks good still being a freaking billion-year-old game. But I've got to imagine a fresh coat of paint on that thing it's going to look amazing. And by the way, I was a late adopter to games like Halo. Like had nothing for Halo. And the first time that I played the original Halo game was the 10-year anniversary edition, where they like slicked up all the graphics and everything, and it looked amazing and played amazing. So I've got to imagine that like that remaster of Halo came out like 10 years ago. So I would imagine whatever remastering is going to happen of this game now is going to look that much better.
Yeah. My money's down on that too. Like, such good stuff. Like, dude, the next 2 years are going to be
going
insane.
to break our banks. Yeah.
No kidding. Like, I freaking broke the bank on Lego Star Wars.
Hey, we both did, okay? And we're getting that cool steelbook. So that'll be my first game steelbook for a game ever.
Yeah. Anyway, anything else this year you want to discuss?
Much like all of the episodes I do with you guys, I will think of a million things after this is over. But not right offhand. I mean, maybe we could... Hey, let's just reboot The Matrix. How about that? That's what I'm looking forward to. Let's just start again and see what happens. I will... Well, whatever. I'll tell you this later. But there is a podcast that's going over all the Matrix movies that they seem to have like they think that the fourth movie is like the culmination of everything that happened in the first three. And I'm interested to get to that point because I would like to hear that. But I will say these people have opinions that I respect very much. And the main guy, like hit one of the first things he said was, yeah, he's like, they should have taken the second and third movie and like cut them into one movie. And I was like, yes, yes, that's right. I was right the whole time. I knew it. But yeah, that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Yeah, reboot The Matrix. Start again. Come on.
Start again.
Make the new generation of Matrix movies.
Maybe when I can come up with like a new artwork for it. Because right now I'm totally stumped.
I mean, listen, we still technically have the Animatrix to watch. So I don't know if that's on HBO Max or not, but I'm just saying.
Fair enough. Well, would you like to tell everyone where they can find you and everything that you do?
If you've made it this far, first of all, I would like to commend you and give you a digital high five. You did it. You listened to 3.5 hours of a bunch of stuff coming up, and I hope you enjoyed it all. And if you want to hear more of me talking to also someone better than me, you can listen to me on the Untrained Eye, talking to my wife, Bethany. It is a great show that we do once a week. We usually put it out on Tuesday. If you try and listen to last week's episode, it might have come out a little late, but I don't know what happened there. Life, Yeah, Yeah, I do the Untrained Eye podcast with Beth, and you can find us at Untrained Eye Pod on all the social mediums. Do that. Listen to us. It's a pretty good show, I say myself, if I do say so myself. I give it a 5. Oh, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say here, so I start remembering to say it on my show too. When you go to look for the Untrained Eye, as you're doing right now, I know that's what you're doing. I'm talking to you. I'm sure you're on Spotify. Before you go away from this podcast, The All Bros, I want you to go look up in like the little left corner of like the main page of The All Bros, and there's going to be a little star there now. And if you hit that little star, you can give the All Bros podcast a 5-star rating on Spotify. I want you to do that. And then I want you to find the Untrained Eye podcast. And then I want you to do subscribe and then hit the old 5-star button on Spotify, because do that. Because why not?
Dude, hell yeah. I'm pretty sure I was the first one to give you a 5-star. Like I found it like while I was during work. I was trying to change the podcast I was listening to yours, and saw like the star in the corner, and I was like, oh,
I didn't know this was a thing.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? Let me see the Untrained Eye, because I want to say I gave you your first one too.
That is probably true.
You know what's funny? It doesn't tell me how many people have rated the show, but I rated my own show 5 stars. That tells you where I'm at. All right.
I did the same thing.
We have 1 5-star rating. Oh, yeah. 2, I hear. Will you be the one to make it 3?
Well, if you liked this episode and want to check out more of our stuff, be sure to follow and subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts. We are basically everywhere. You can also catch all of the episodes on YouTube. You can hit us up on social media if you want to DM us with an episode idea, answer a question of the week, or if you want to join us for an episode. We would love to have anyone on. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all at the Allbros. Email is at the allbroschannel@gmail.com. Website, tinyurl.com/the Allbros, where you can find links to everything that we do. And I will be posting links to everything that DJ does in the episode description.
Yay. I need 2 updates, Caleb. 1, what is our Monster House sale situation?
Oh, good hell. Since the last time we talked, 2 shirts and a kid's hoodie.
There you have it, folks. The number 1 Monster House merch podcast in the biz. Second, yes.
And someone bought a Tusk shirt.
That is, I did hear you say that. That's amazing. Tusk is a great underrated. That is another super underrated movie. I love that movie. It's very weird.
Yeah. So someone bought a shirt with our artwork of that. So
the other update that I need is, when is the next episode of the Gacy Gazette gracing our ear holes?
Oh yes. By the end of the month. Rose is getting out later this month, so I'm hoping to get it like maybe the 23rd, because I chose to release it on the day that we record normally. I was like, it just fits.
Yeah, why not?
But yeah, like, oh my gosh. Like we're gonna get subscribers just because they think Rose is weird.
No, that was great. I actually meant to mention that during the meat of the show. I did listen to the first episode and I liked it, and I'm glad that he finally did do that.
Dude, me too. Dude, I was laughing my ass off hearing Beth talk about his shrine.
Dude, his shrine though.
I know. I was just
Rose.
like, this. Like,
Rose, listen to me. I will be a character witness for you, but I mean, the point is I'm going to have to be a character witness for you because you are going to be pulled into the trial.
Yeah.
Like,
when I saw that, I didn't realize it was as big as it was.
mm-hmm.
Like, I knew he had a lot of stuff. He's like, oh yeah, I have like business cards and some posters, and I'm like, oh okay. And then he shared that picture. Like, my wife came to me, she's like, is Rose okay? And I was like yeah, why? And she showed me, and I was like, ooh.
Wait, what is your Instagram? At Allbros or at the Allbros? Which
at
is it?
the Allbros.
Go to at the Allbros on Instagram and see a much larger shelf than you would imagine of things. One of them some of the stuff he has almost looks like affirmations. You know what I mean? Like, you know how you get those, like, you can do it posters? Like, hold on, I'm going to look for it right now. The Allbros. Where, what?
Dude, like, I like all these different scenarios started running through my head. I'm like, what if he were to bring some girl home? She sees the John Wayne Gacy, like, or just, by the way, like, what if he just brings someone home with him? Sees the John Wayne
this fool has a knife with John Wayne Gacy's face stretched onto it. Like, Rose, I love you, buddy. You are the best. Cannot wait for episode 2. Listen, you're allowed to be into stuff. Rose, he doesn't have his Funko Pops anymore, so he's got to put that energy somewhere. And I can appreciate that.
I love Rose dearly, but that shrine made me real concerned. Like, if any, like, I know it won't, but if he were to end up on, like, 2020 or Dateline, and they were to come to me and be like, did you know? I'd be like, honestly,
at the Allbros on Instagram.
If they're just like, did you know, like, about all this? I would have to be like, I did, and I ignored all the red flags.
Yeah, it seems crazy that you would ignore red flags until you see a shelf of John Wayne Gacy memorabilia. And you're like, Johnny Rose is the greatest. He would never. He would never. Poor Rose. I'm sorry, Rose.
There's just, I think, like, yes, like, he would never. But now there is a glimmer of doubt.
Yeah, there is officially a paper trail, Rose. So, by the way, that's the thing. Either he is so innocent that he just put his stuff online just because he's like, what? Why wouldn't I put my collection online? Or he is so conniving that he is like, what? Why wouldn't I put my collection online? I'm Johnny Rose.
Luckily, his place is a rental, so I'm pretty sure there aren't bodies.
That sounds like exactly where you would put bodies.
I cannot wait for the messages I'm going to get when he listens to this.
Imagine Johnny Rose listening to an episode of a podcast. He'll hear it from Vic. I'm sure Vic will message him and be like, you'll never believe what DJ was saying about you. He said he was the official second host now. What a liar. It's true, Vic. That's right. Even if we are resetting the time, like you said, I have a wide margin of a lead now, Vic.
Well, this has been an absolute blast.
Indeed.
Everyone, go check out the Untrained Eye, and be sure to tune in next week, where Rose will hopefully be back, And we will be talking about Ron Goes Wrong, like we were supposed to today.
Which I didn't realize I had watched some of that movie. It seemed to have some things in common with the Mitchells. What was that movie called?
Oh, the Mitchells versus the Machines?
Yeah, it seemed to be very Mitchells versus the Machines-esque.
A little bit.
Or maybe I'm thinking of something else. Was there another movie that was kind of like that?
No, it definitely has a little bit of Mitchells versus the Machine vibes, but in a good way. Did you like that movie?
Mitchells versus the Machine. Well, I saw both of them kind of peripherally. Like, I was in the room for like maybe like 15, 20-ish minutes at a time, and then was kind of like passing through. And they both seemed, I mean, everyone in the house seemed to like them, and I didn't see anything that made me like roll my eyes at them. I want to say I did
Fair.
watch like the very end of Mitchells versus the Machines, and I was like, oh, this is a good movie. Where I don't think Ron Goes Wrong. I don't think we finished that one.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. Real fun. But we will get into all that stuff next week. Until then, this has been the All Bros Podcast. I'm Caleb.
And I'm the official new host, co-host, DJ.
We will catch you guys next week. Deuces.
We're gonna see you next time, Jesse. I can't do another so long. I can't do it. It's too late. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Rose. I did you dirty.